Welcome, guys, to my radar. This is the app called My Radar. And look at right here. We got Florence. Florence is hitting landfall, and it's hitting the Carolinas right now. Look at it, hitting South Carolina right there. It's going to contain serious flooding, and I hope you enjoyed this live stream. And it's about Florence. Just like that person told me that I should go live today, so I am going live now. So enjoy this live stream about Florence. Yes, it is Florence, Panda Squad.
Through, indeed, if these are only Doppler radar indicated tornadoes, but if indeed a circulation does make it to the ground, you won't be able to know because it's raining so hard everywhere and there's flooding. This is just a compounding and making the situation that much more dangerous. Sampson County in North Carolina also under a tornado warning for another 15 minutes or so. Every one of these circulations is moving northwest at about 50 miles per hour. So they're impossible to track practically, and they spin up with little or no advance warning from one radar scan to the next in just a couple of minutes. All of a sudden you get a tornado, and then the next scan a couple of minutes later, it's gone. But we'll be seeing a lot more of these types of storms coming in off the Gulf of Mexico that not only bring that tornado threat, but continue the flash flooding disaster, we'll call it, in North Carolina. We've got flash flood emergencies over so many counties. In these counties in green, this is a level above flash flood warnings, which is very serious in its own way. But the emergency means that you shouldn't be moving around. You should not attempt to travel because, I should say, unless you're actually being forced to evacuate as ordered by local officials. But there are flooded roads everywhere. More so than that, there's so many locations that are underwater across parts of these counties in eastern North Carolina. And unfortunately, the rain is going to continue to exacerbate that problem with this Hurricane Florence, now Tropical Storm Florence, essentially remaining stationary for the next at least 24 hours. It's moving only at 2, so if you add that up over the next day or so, tomorrow morning, it's not going to be much farther away than it is now, assuming it doesn't accelerate. And there it will be, we think, by tomorrow morning, bringing a lot of heavy rain in interior South Carolina, North Carolina, and I'd say continuing the tornado threat as well across parts of North Carolina in those outer rain bands. Something to watch. We're not done with the tornado threat today. for tomorrow. We may still be dealing with it a little bit on Monday as overall the circulation moves on northward. The amount of rain yet to come is already coming upon staggering totals we've seen. We've seen numbers of 24 to 30 inches across parts of southeastern North Carolina, with at least several more inches to go in those spots, and maybe a foot or more in others. Not be surprised to see areas with storm totals over 3 feet. But we know that Florence is not going to stop as it moves into interior sections of the Carolinas. It's going to move northward and carry with it some rain as well. But it's fortunately going to be moving faster by Monday and Tuesday than it is now. So yes, we're going to get some rain into the northeast, and it is not going to be anywhere near the kind of rain threat that we've had farther to the south, with really through Tuesday night and early Wednesday, perhaps a couple of inches. Now that's significant, but it is nowhere near the disaster and flooding threat that the North Carolina and South Carolina regions have seen. Right now I'm going to send it over to Mike Bettis, who is in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Mike.
Thank you very much, Dr. Postel. The one thing we're watching here in South Carolina is the change in wind direction. Yesterday we had an offshore wind, today an onshore wind, and high tide is going to happen here about the next hour and a half. And that means the water's now a lot different here in Myrtle Beach than it was. And could we get now a lot more water infiltrating the beach? We think so. You see the big angry waves now, 6 to 8 footers out there right now. And yesterday it was almost pancake flat. But now that we get the south-southeast winds pushing the water in, look where it goes, right? Right up to the dunes here. So the water's come up to the dunes here, and it may briefly come up over the dunes, briefly. But then, as we go to more of a low tide, I think that's beneficial for us, as the water will go maybe out just a little bit more, but you can't.
I don't know what that is.
With the onshore flow, and this is what you're getting today. Now water's going to got about another hour and a half before it peaks at the high tide. As far as the winds go, though, not as strong as they were yesterday. We had a wind gust over 60 miles an hour. They backed off to about half of that right now, okay? And we do have trees down, we do have power lines down in the area, and so they're still out there doing some assessment today.
What language is
but
that?
you won't be allowed to be out and about. They discourage everyone from doing that because we've got a lot of trees that are blocking streets, and we've got a lot of power lines that are down, and they don't want anyone near those, treating those as energized lines, okay? So you want to stay away from those at all costs, at minimum 30 feet away if you get a down power line in your neighborhood. As far as what we anticipate for the remainder of the day, still periods of heavy rain, but keep this in mind. Dr. Postel was really illustrating this perfectly. Those rain bands are almost stationary. We've got a rain band, a really heavy rain band, that's about 25 miles to our north, okay?
That is Korean.
But if the storm's creeping along at just 2 miles an hour, it could take that storm line 12 hours to get here, okay? It's 25 miles away. That's it. All right, so we're watching very closely for what can happen for us here in Myrtle Beach. Still more rain to come. We still have about 160,000 customers that are without power at this point. So just be aware of what our conditions are going to end up being here as we go through the remainder of the day. And again, at the times we could have some pretty gusty winds as well. So just be aware of those conditions, and everyone's still recommended that you stay in your safe location right now. Stay at home. Don't be out on these roadways. The South Carolina Highway Patrol, South Carolina DOT are patrolling right now, looking for areas where trees are down, and they're working to clear those as quickly as they can. Folks, stick with us. We're going to show you the flooding North Carolina conditions in South Carolina when we come back here as we cover Florence.
Feeling wiped out? That's your body calling. Answer the call with B vitamins and whole grains to power up. Special K cereals have both, with tasty extras like real fruit and nuts. Special K, powering you.
Fact is, every insurance company hopes you drive safely, but Allstate helps you with DriveWise. Feedback that helps you drive safer, and that could lower your cost. Now that you know the truth, are you in good hands?
This is Fracture. Just upload an image, place your order, and it'll show up at your door, beautifully printed directly on glass. And this isn't just another frame, or just another canvas. This is new. This is a Fracture. Visit FractureMe.com and print one today.
Our military uses high-tech surveillance equipment to keep you safe, like aircraft that can listen in on conversations from hundreds of miles away. Hi, I'm Hunter Ellis. Now you too can experience super hearing with Magic Ear by Atomic Beam.
Well, guys, Florence is going to probably hit like Tennessee or West Virginia, or it might hit New York City.
You can adjust adjust the volume for your personal listening. With Magic Ear, you don't have to turn up the volume or ask anyone to repeat themselves. This state-of-the-art breakthrough lets you adjust volume to hear better than anyone in the room. You can even hear a whisper 100 feet away.
See Dawn? She looks amazing.
And pick up sounds you'd never hear. It's hard to hear in the backseat of a car.
Are you okay?
I can't hear you back here.
Now sit back and talk comfortably.
Can you hear me back there?
Loud and clear. Use Magic Ear in theaters and meetings.
What do you say?
You'll hear every word clearly, comfortably, no matter where you're sitting. Magic Ear gives you the incredible experience of super hearing. Sportsmen and bird watchers use it to hear noises that are too low for the human ear.
People think it's a pocket radio, and I like that.
I love how discreet it is. Fits in the palm of your hand. No one even knows you're listening.
Discover for yourself the thrilling experience of super hearing. Order Magic Ear by Atomic Beam right now for just $19.99. But wait, order now and you can double the offer. Just pay a separate fee. Plus, we'll ship them free and fast. That's 2 Magic Ear by Atomic Beam and free shipping. This technology cost over $150 million. But Magic Ear, it's a deal. Order now.
Call 1-800-478-7862. That's 1-800-478-7862. Or visit getmagicear.com. So call 1-800-478-7862. Order now.
Olay Deep Hydrating Eye Gel breaks through the competition. Olay Eyes with B3 Complex hydrates better than $100, $200, even $400 eye creams. That's something to see. Olay.
Continuing coverage of Florence on the Weather Channel here for you. Here you are looking at a new video from New Bern, North Carolina. Certainly an area that has been hit pretty hard. You can see on the water there that's coming from the streets and roads. That water should not be there. So, you know, they're going door to door, checking on folks, making sure everyone is okay, seeing if anyone needs to be rescued. They're trapped in their homes from that water that is visited again in the New Bern area. So they're going and checking folks, making sure everyone is okay at this point. That has been a big concern here for us, not just in around the New Bern area, but all across the Carolinas with some of this heavy rain that has been coming on through, and it's going to be coming on through the next few days. Really adding to the issues here for us over the next few with these streams and the creeks and the rivers rising. Here I am in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and right behind me at this point is the Cape Fear River, and that river is expected to rise. So the concern is here for folks here in Fayetteville for some issues here as well. This river could get up to 62 feet. That would be 4 feet above what they saw back in Hurricane Matthew, which was an incredible disaster here in this area. Homes flooded, people trapped here as well. So this is
the TV seems to be kind of scratchy over here.
Major problems. Voluntary evacuations where I am here from Cape Fear River areas within 1 mile of it. But also at this point, we're talking about mandatory evacuations just up the road from me in Hardin County. They've declared mandatory evacuations. That's along the Lower Little River. That's near the Cumberland County line. Again, that's just to my north and west. They were supposed to be out by 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. today. That river is forecast to crest around 35 feet. And that could top the record that was experienced back in Matthew by more than 3 feet. So it could be even worse than what the experience there. So again, mandatory evacuations in Hardin County for the Lower Little River there. So we haven't found out yet what they're going to be doing about things here on the Cape Fear River. Officials are discussing whether or not they're going to make mandatory evacuations here necessary. That could come as soon as tomorrow as this river continues to climb here as well. As I mentioned, we're going to be talking about this thing climbing up to 62 feet. We've already seen here, as I've been standing around here and reporting here for the last several days, the river has no doubt come up, flowing much faster as well. We've got this bridge here behind me. The water's pouring down through there so it doesn't collect on the bridge itself, but that water is pouring down. Guess what? It's flowing down towards the river, and so the river is going to continue to climb from that general area. We've seen it moving faster and faster as well. Tree debris, we've seen a little bit more of that activity as well. Some big, huge trees have been flowing down the river. So you got to remember, it's not just the water that's going to be a problem, but what's in the water. And you do not want to be in that by any stretch of the imagination. So a big concern here in Fayetteville. We've got power outage issues as well. A lot of the street lights have power outage issues as well. So if you're heading out and about, they're also telling folks to please stay off the roads if you don't have to be out there. Why be in this mess? Those street lights are out. If you do come to that, treat it as a four-way stop sign. That's what you want to be doing. But again, they're recommending folks to not be out there on the waters. We've been essentially dealing with one of the heavier bands of rain in quite some time. Just to our south and east, we've been dealing with a tornado warning storm. So that is a concern as well with these outer bands. Some of these quick spin-ups can happen. It can happen very, very quickly, along with the heavy rain and the gusty winds as well. So we're going to keep a monitor on this Cape Fear River here over the next several hours, next days as well. That's all from Fayetteville. Let's get down towards Myrtle Beach. That's where Royal Mike Bettis is stationed as well. Mike, how things going there for you?
Thank you very much, Alex. A little bit of rain, a little bit of wind again today, and the rain that we had yesterday is record-setting, almost 6 inches of rain fell, and this is what we're looking at here as a result. This is all freshwater flooding here. It's between the dunes and some of the hotels that are here on Myrtle Beach. You've got about roughly a foot of water or so, and it's just sitting here. You take a look at these hotels. They're all designed. They're built up, right? So the first floor doesn't really begin until about 10 feet up or so. But you can see how much water they're taking on. And once you get down to some of the lower areas there, I mean, they got about 3 feet of water back there. I'm not going to walk back in there. But unfortunately, this is how you get to the dunes. You come out the sidewalks here, you come out the pool areas, you come over the boardwalks, over the dunes, and right on up to the beaches. Now at the beach, the problem is, and we've been showing you here last hour or so, we've got onshore flow now possibly causing us some issues with storm surge. And so now we go to high tide. High tide's going to happen for us about an hour from now, and that means water's going to come up. I don't think these dunes, if you take a look at these dunes are roughly 6 feet tall or so. So it would take another 6 feet of water to get the water over these dunes and then have it connect here with the flooding. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to have water up to the dunes, but I don't think the water's going to come over the dunes, at least at not this location where we are. There could be some areas where we don't have dunes. We've got breaches in some of those dunes, and then those problems are going to be exacerbated. We've got flooding that goes inland in a lot of different places, okay? So just be ready for flooding that could come in to a few different places. But you take a look at what the inland flooding has been like here and what some of the showers have done yesterday. We had over 6 inches of rain that came our way here. And so this is what we're going to be dealing with. A lot of different places here in Myrtle Beach. Just take a look at something. Just take a look down this way here and look at some of the water that we've got here. For some of you, unfortunately, it's going to be an issue that's ongoing for a couple of days because we've got more rain in our forecast. If you look at some of that water that we've seen in North Carolina, some of those bands, okay, those bands will creep our way. All right? Those bands are so slow to move. And so you've got to be patient with this. They're not allowing folks back into the properties just yet. And what that means is it's going to take time because conditions could get worse. Flooding could get worse. We could go through 4 storm surge cycles. So all these things are still on the table, not to mention still some pretty gusty winds. Forecast from North and South Carolina. We'll come back right here on the West Coast.
All right, Phil Swift here for Flex Tape Clear, the super strong waterproof tape that's clearly the best way to patch, bond, seal, and repair. Flex Tape's triple thick adhesive instantly bonds to the surface, stopping the toughest leaks while remaining virtually invisible. Plus, Flex Tape Clear is so strong, it even works underwater. Now you can repair pools and spas with a clear, watertight seal and even make quick repairs without changing the look of your beautiful surfaces. Now it's easy to fix rips and tears. Plus, Flex Tape Clear holds on tight, even when wet. Flex Tape Clear is perfect for emergency auto repairs and lets light pass right through boats, campers, trailers, and RVs. Now everything in plain sight can be sealed watertight. To show you the power of Flex Tape Clear, I cut a giant hole in another boat and repaired it with only Flex Tape Clear. Not only does Flex Tape Clear's powerful adhesive keep all the water out of the boat, but even in shark-infested waters, it creates a super strong watertight barrier that seals out the elements, and you can see right through. And even in the most extreme conditions, Flex Tape Clear can take a pounding and holds on tight. I think I'm going to need a bigger boat. Wahoo! Guys? Hello? Where'd everybody go? You get a large roll of Flex Tape Clear for just $19.99. Plus, we'll include a handy can of Flex Seal, Flex Shot, Flex Glue, or Flex Seal Liquid. Call right now. That's amazing. This is an insurance commercial. Well, let's be honest. Nobody likes dealing with insurance, which is why Esurance hired me, Dennis Quaid, as their spokesperson, because apparently I'm highly likable. See, they know it's confusing.
I really have no idea what I'm getting, Dennis Quaid.
That's why they're making it simple, Manic Cafe, and more affordable.
Thank you, Dennis Quaid.
You're welcome.
That's a prop out.
I tell you more, but I only have 30 seconds, so here's a dramatic shot of their tagline so you'll remember it. Esurance. It's surprisingly painless.
This is Emily. During SUV season at your local Northland Ford dealer, it's special closeout savings on a 2018 Ford Explorer, the best-selling SUV of all time.
How is Florence going over there?
Comfortable and connected, with heated seats, heated steering wheel, voice-activated
seeming to hit landfall still.
From anywhere. The best time to save is now. During Ford's SUV season, get $6,000 in total savings, or lease a 4x4 Explorer for just $299 a month. Only at your local Northland Ford dealer.
Remember being tucked in bed as a child and hearing the line, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite? Then we thought it was just a cute saying. Man, have things changed. Bedbugs are a seriously tough pest causing both economic and emotional strain on Siouxland families, and they definitely are huge. Over-the-counter products just aren't effective, and our staff is highly trained to tackle just this sort of infestation. So call Benson Pest Management today and let us become your pest problem solvers. When this much rain falls, it is a life-threatening situation.
It's the most essential coverage on TV.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under sunny skies. Today, sunny, high 89, winds south at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear, low 67, winds south-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday, sunshine, high 87, winds south at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
And you're watching the Weather Channel's continuing coverage of Florence, a tropical storm right now with 50-mile-per-hour winds, but it has done significant damage across the Carolinas, and the overwhelming theme that we're seeing right now is flooding. We've had flooding here in Myrtle Beach. It's been spotty in areas, okay, with nearly 6 inches of rain that's fallen over the last 24 hours. These are some areas that are low-lying that have filled up with some water. We get about 3 feet of water back in there. Now, these are a lot of hotels along the beach are built up, okay? They build them up about 10 feet or so they can take water underneath them. The first floor really begins 10 feet higher than the ground level here. But this is what you deal with when you have intense rain bands. And we had them all day long yesterday. Now, a little bit like today. The winds have changed direction. We don't have an offshore flow. We've got an onshore flow today. But I'm getting a little worried about what may happen with the intense rain bands that we have up in North Carolina. They've been almost stationary today, but if we get really slow movement out of the storm system and it pushes, at least the center of Florence pushes way more inland, some of those heavy rain bands can sweep into South Carolina. I want to bring in Dr. Greg Postel for some discussion on this, because I'm worried, Dr. Postel, that folks in South Carolina may let their guard down a little bit. The weather's improved a little bit, but what are the odds that those big heavy rain bands that we have in North Carolina shift their way to South Carolina and we get flooding issues here? Well, that's a really good question. Those very same rain bands that are in North Carolina, I don't think will make it into South Carolina, but I do think some new ones will begin to develop just offshore eventually. You're starting to see the radar fill in the recent trends here, but as the center of circulation, just to your left, Mike, continues to move away, I think the continued onshore flow and overall the instability that's circulating around Florence will allow for more showers and heavy showers at that to move into parts of northeastern South Carolina, not far from where you are. Mike.
The one thing
that people really worried about initially, Dr. Postel, and they may have that concern now today. They've got the onshore flows. How much surge will we get? Will it be enough to overlaunch the boardwalk? What's our current thinking on this? I know the storm's a little weaker. That helps. Maybe slowly pulling away. That also helps. What's our current thinking about storm surge? What can we max out here in Myrtle Beach?
Not much more than what you've got. I mean, the next high tide cycle comes in about, let's see, about 45 minutes. And I just looked at some of the wind observations in and around the southeast coast. Myrtle Beach has a wind sustained at about 20 knots, about 23 miles per hour, gusting to almost 30. So it's a long fetch of wind, but it is not particularly strong. And I think perhaps as we go even to the high tide cycle tonight, Mike, I don't think that the water rise will be as significant as it is right at about lunchtime today. So the biggest risk for any storm surge inundation, I think, would be in the next couple of hours. But I want to talk about now also how much rain has fallen, because this is a very remarkable story here. So far across parts of North Carolina, if indeed this observation does hold, that means that Florence will have gotten to the #1 on the list as the rainiest tropical system in North Carolina's recorded history. So 30.58 inches in Swansboro. The Weather Service is reviewing that and confirming it. It's yet to be that, but we'll still watch for significant rains to add to these numbers over the next several hours. And the problem is that Florence is stuck right out in here. And if you look for somebody to get it out of the way, you're not going to find it. The upper level of steering patterns have essentially collapsed around the southeastern United States. There's no big jet stream wind anywhere near it. There's some strong winds there. There's some strong winds way back out to the west. But overall, that's leading to a pattern that is giving us currently what we've got, and will give it to us for at least another 12 to 24 hours, with the center of circulation here, but the nastiest of all the weather way out in here. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to skip ahead and sort of time out what we can expect as we go forward over the next, I don't know, say 12 to 18 hours or so, using some of the high-res modeling here. So this is before basically an hour from now, and then going forward through the rest of the afternoon. Now this is what Mike was asking. He was wondering if some of those very significant rain bands that are now in North Carolina will slide south into parts of South Carolina. By this evening, apparently this model does not think that. It keeps those heavier rain bands farther to the north, and it's not really until perhaps tomorrow that maybe there's some opportunity for that to happen. But the good news for South Carolina is that the heaviest rain looks like to be missing you, and instead, unfortunately, moving into parts of the interior sections of South Carolina. North Carolina is unfortunately going to take the brunt of all the rain, and it is not just going to be at the coast. Through the weekend, we're going to see significant rain, even where it is now raining in Charlotte, North Carolina, in the western part of the state, where our own Reynolds Wolf is. Take it away, Reynolds.
All right, Jack Postel, thanks so much. Well, we're in the Queen City of Charlotte right now, making our way down Sharon Road, and what you're seeing through, again, our turret camera on top of our vehicle is one of the big issues we have in Charlotte. That has to be these beautiful tree-lined streets. Right now, we haven't had much in terms of wind, but we have had some tree damage. Most of it occurred last night into the early morning. The problem is, we're in the early stages. As we roll forward in time, we're going to see the rain begin to be uptaken. The same deal with the intensity of the wind. That's going to be a huge problem. In terms of power outages across parts of Mecklenburg County, they number around 3,000, but those numbers are also expected to increase. When you go throughout the region, they number in the hundreds of thousands. Again, that's the number of customers, thinking of the families, millions of people being impacted. But crews are out and about doing what they can to kind of clean up best they can. More information on Florence and the, again, current situation and potential aftermath after this.
When it comes to strong bones, are you on the right path? We have postmenopausal osteoporosis and a high risk for fracture. So with our doctors, we chose Prolia to help make our bones stronger. Only Prolia helps strengthen bones by stopping cells that damage them with one shot every 6 months.
Do not take Prolia if you have low blood calcium, are pregnant, are allergic to it, or take Extiva. Serious allergic reactions like low blood pressure, trouble breathing, throat tightness, face, lip, or tongue swelling, rash, itching, or hives have happened. Tell your doctor about dental problems, as severe jawbone problems may happen, or new or unusual pain in your hip, groin, or thigh, as unusual thigh bone fractures have occurred. Speak to your doctor before stopping Prolia, as spine and other bone fractures have occurred. Prolia can cause serious side effects, like low blood calcium, serious infections which could need hospitalization, skin problems, and severe bone, joint, or muscle pain.
If your bones are getting stronger, isn't it time for a new direction? Why wait? Ask your doctor about Prolia.
So, Darren, you're with the UPS store?
Yeah.
We actually printed these invites. Wow. I thought you guys just did shipping. No, we did printing, packing, shredding, notarizing, mailboxing, faxing, binding, taping, laminating, copying, consulting, grading, designing, returning, and of course shipping. Cool.
Nice costume.
It's my work uniform. Where are you going?
Go to the UPS store for every aid your small business needs. And of course, shipping.
You know what I'm thinking? Why not use it? I mean, we're talking about $6 trillion here. That's a whole lot of cash out there people are just sitting on. Many older Americans are in a tough spot right now. They just don't have enough savings to get by. It's their biggest concern. They could be our family, our friends. And then there's that $6 trillion. That's the amount retired homeowners have already paid into their homes. It comes down to an average of more than $200,000 per senior household. So, why not use a reverse mortgage loan to access that equity?
Find out more. Call us today to receive a free information kit complete with a DVD presented by Tom Selleck. The kit will help you understand more about a reverse mortgage, decide if it's right for you, and the simple ways you need to qualify. Call 1-800-966-8281.
The reverse mortgage loan from AAG uses your built-up home equity to give you cash now and when you need it in the future. Pay it back when it works for you or in one lump sum when you leave the home.
Call now for a free, no-obligation information kit to find out how a reverse mortgage loan can pay for living expenses, medical bills, even credit card bills. Call 1-800-966-8281.
I know what you're thinking. Why me? And why AAG? Well, I've done my homework, and I know how dedicated AAG is to helping retirees in a caring, ethical way. I trust them. I think you can too.
If you're 62 or older and own your home, the info kit will show you how to access your home's equity to give you cash when you need it. It'll eliminate those monthly mortgage payments and give you the extra money to renovate the home or pay off bills. Call 1-800-966-8281.
We have seen the Cape Fear River rise to levels we have not ever seen.
Around town and all you see, trees down. It's going to take a long time to get out of the way. In our continuing coverage of Florence here in the Wrightsville Beach area, again, we got a chance to speak with the mayor as well as the chairman of the New Hanover County Commission over the last hour and a half, and both gentlemen confirming that there are certainly some issues on Wrightsville Beach in terms of roof damage. Some of it's very severe to about 3 or 4 homes. There's been overwash from the sound side, interestingly enough. There's about 18 inches of standing water in some spots. They have not given me an update on infrastructure for water and sewer, and there is no timetable as to when people can get back on the beach. But as you go in and around on the other side of the causeway, this is the kind of stuff that we're seeing. And granted, this is a worst case scenario because you've got a huge tree, and in some cases laying on the top of a house. But, you know, as long as we have the wind up, which you can see, and these rain bands keep coming in here, there's no timetable as we talk to Duke Power about getting people back online. I'm really thinking, guys, that that's not going to even start in most places until tomorrow. Now, what is compounding all this is the tremendous amount of heavy rain that is going on. All the way, really, from east central North Carolina down to the southeast part and into South Carolina. So I want to bring in Steve Abbott, who is the Public Information Officer with the North Carolina Department of Transportation. Steve, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. Really wanted to talk to you. What are you seeing going on, first of all, before we get into some of the specifics, in terms of the roads? Are we seeing, especially because of this heavy rain, are we seeing a lot of these roads literally closing by the hour? And not just roads, but even interstates.
That is exactly right. I last checked, less than an hour ago, we were at more than 250 roads closed, and that number is going to continue to rise quickly as the water rises, and as we discovered, especially more rural roads where also a tree is down, where power lines are down, and that list is going to get longer and longer.
All right, so
tell me some of the major thoroughfares that are closed right now. And this impacts people not only in North Carolina that are traveling locally, but people that are coming from other states trying to get through North Carolina. Where should people avoid travel?
Well, first of all, for those people, I-95 is closed in both directions over 16 miles going south from I-40 down towards Fayetteville because of flooded roadways. So that's the big one that's going to impact people in other states, Virginia, Georgia, or South Carolina. I-95 is closed. There's a rather lengthy detour route that's out there that they'd have to follow. Also, a section of I-40 is closed between I-95 and where you're located, about a 5-mile section. So those are the two big roads that have closures.
Is the I-95 section, is that the Lumber River coming over its banks? Is that around Lumber?
No, it's a little higher up than
the 70-mile marker?
No, it's a little higher up. There's actually, don't have the mile markers right in front of me, but it's a little higher up, and that's the other thing that when the Lumber River starts rising and rising, as all this rainwater drains into it, that lower section, that's probably going to be affected by flooded waters as well.
All right, so this is a section that's north of Lumberton, and you're expecting that one to come online as well. Now, this is really interesting, Steve, because when as we get back online here, maybe in the next 2 or 3 days, people that have been asked to evacuate are going to want to come back. Now, some of these thoroughfares that are closed and some of these roads are roads that they would use to come back. How are we going to deal with that?
Exactly, but we anticipate even more flooding next week. So like I mentioned, the Lumber River, the Tar, the Neuse, they're all going to flood. This is what happened in Matthew. You had the initial storm go through. The flooding was worse in the days that followed as the rivers came up and overflowed. So it's going to be a long wait, as the governor has said. Have patience. Really, any road that's east of 95 at any time could start becoming flooded. So we need people to have patience. They may not get back to where they want to go for some time.
Steve, in terms of the number of roads and the current closures that we have, do you know how many miles of road that is and that takes up that is closed?
I do not, because a lot of these are just small sections, you know, where a creek might have come up and washed the culvert out, and it's only a few hundred yards on the more rural roads. But again, a lot of the U.S. routes and NC routes, the little bigger roads, have sections. They're not mostly whole stretches of roadway, but just where there's a bridge or there was a culvert or something like that.
And like you said, major interstates as well, Interstate 40 and also Interstate 95. Steve, really appreciate the update, buddy. It helps us get the word out, especially when there are other people that are either listening to us on Sirius XM radio or actually watching us that have power. Hey, avoid these sections that are closed. Don't get into eastern North Carolina, especially for I-95. And as Steve said, we're talking about other sections that are also going to be closing. All right, Greg Postel, we continue to add up the rain gauges. We have potentially set a new rainfall record for the state of North Carolina with over 30 inches of rain, crushing the old Floyd record back in 1999. This is just unbelievable, buddy, and it keeps raining in these same spots.
Yeah, it does. Let me show you that graphic to show you that the sort of preliminary reports so far out of Swansboro or near there, about 1.5 miles from there, over 30 inches of rain. That was a couple of hours ago. And we will see probably more totals come in like this, and if not this very same one, go up. And the old record from a tropical cyclone, that is, as a state record for North Carolina, the old record was performed by, I should say, accomplished by Floyd back in 1999. And we far exceeded that, assuming this number is verified by the National Weather Service. It is raining still very hard across parts of North Carolina, in some cases with a threat of tornadoes. As this line, look at this line, this rain band out here, it's just buckling up like that. When they do that, these little circulations have the ability to make little tornadoes, and they move really, really fast, and it's impossible to see because it's raining so hard. There's no visibility. We've already seen tornado warnings earlier this morning in those outer bands, and we'll see more of them with the potential to do some damage as well. South Carolina, that's where the center of Florence is. It's now just a tropical storm, I should say, just a tropical storm in terms of wind. There's not so much wind there, but the heavy rain, of course, is a big factor. And then South Carolina has got the sort of area of steady, moderate rain near the center of circulation of Florence, which is right in there. And on the outer edges, we're seeing some rain bands expand westward through Columbia and into parts, probably getting into Georgia as well.
In North Carolina, there are a number of counties here that are what are called flash flood emergencies. What that means is that travel is absolutely out of the question because there are so many flooded roadways in areas near them that make it exceptionally dangerous to do so. In every single one of these counties, going from the coast westward toward Raleigh and even west now of I-95. So you're not really supposed to be traveling unless you have to evacuate as ordered to do so by a local official because of rising waters. But let's talk about the river gauge issue here because Jim was talking about that earlier. Right now, these areas, these sort of purple triangles, tell us which river gauges are at major flood stage, that is flooding, overflowing creeks and rivers and flooding nearby areas. That's that. But the point is that even after Florence is gone, we're still going to be dealing with the drainage and the runoff from nearby watershed, and we're going to see very significant flooding still well into next week. Every one of these purple triangles represents a river gauge that is likely to be at major flood stage into next week, and some of these cases not cresting until later next week. That goes into southern Virginia, goes into parts of northern South Carolina. The story, the flooding story is long from over. Even though we can sort of move slowly Florence out of the picture, out of the Carolinas, the flooding story will continue well into next week. But let's do that. Let's move Florence, please. Get it out of the way. People want to know when the heck is it going. Well, we think that by later on in the day tomorrow, it may begin to start to accelerate a little bit and overall weaken. Enough so that we don't see a ton of rain nearly as much as we do now later on Sunday evening and early Monday morning. That's a good thing. But between now and then, that's a long time. And that could lead to a lot more rain yet to come. This is a forecast of what's yet to come. So add what you've got now. Add maybe 8 to 12 inches in some spots. Some places are going to end up with storm totals over 3 feet. Remarkable stuff. I want to move it forward from here because Florence continues to move, we think, early next week toward parts of the Ohio Valley and Northeast. But it will be moving quickly enough so that it's not going to give the same kind of rain nearly that we've seen in the Carolinas. Good for locations in the Northeast on that news. But still, some potentially heavy rain is not what areas in the Northeast are looking for. It seems they've had quite a bit already. But going forward in time, again, guys, just maybe 1 to 2 inches, maybe a little bit more early next week from the remnants of Florence as it moves into the Northeast. I'm going to send it over now to Mike Bettis in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Mike.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Susdale. And to your point about what the flooding could be for us here in South Carolina, we look at the effect of the drainage and what happens in places like Camden, South Carolina. We've got a forecast for you in Camden. It's a watery river. I think this is an interesting forecast for you. Watch this river come up days from now, okay? Not till the middle of next week. We're to rise up to about 36 feet, 20 feet higher than it is right now. What that means is we know that a lot of different places are going to go underwater. That'll be days after Florence has made landfall. Just amazing the lag effect and how much water is going to fall, come down through watersheds and fill up rivers. So you're watching the river. We're going to follow that one closely as well in Conway. We're going to follow the intercoastal and see how much this onshore flow that we're getting right now is going to prevent the drainage. Boy, it's completely different Atlantic Ocean than what we had yesterday, right? Because we had an offshore flow and all the water was out. Even at high tide, the water was hundreds of yards out. But now look at it. We got about 8-footers out there right now, and now we're getting to high tide. High tide will happen here in the next 45 minutes or so. Notice how the water now is coming up close to the dunes at this point. Normally high tide, I'll show you about where high tide normally would be. High tide would normally be about where this little crest is right here. You would get water up to maybe about maybe here or so. All right, this would be where high tide would normally be, right? But then you get the high tide with the onshore flow. Now the good news is the winds have backed off quite a bit now that Florence is weakening, so we don't have the really strong onshore winds. You know, winds are gusting at about 30 miles an hour, so the surge is going to be less, and that's a great thing. You know, initially we were forecasting surge that could be as much as 6 feet. But now notice the water's coming up here through dunes, but it may just stop right there. And the dunes are going to do their job. They've done beach replenishment here, and I think that those dunes are going to hold the water in. Now, as far as what's going on here, we still have evacuation orders in effect here in Horry County as well as Georgetown County. A couple of evacuation orders have been lifted. They're down on Charleston. So, Berkeley, Charleston, Colleton, Dorchester County, your evacuation orders have been lifted. So you'll now be allowed to get back in, but you will not be allowed to get back in here in Myrtle Beach or as well as Georgetown County, okay? Horry County shut down for now. And when conditions are okay, officials will make an assessment of that, you'll be allowed back in. All right, let's get to Jim Cantori. He right now is up in North Carolina. Jim, Wrightsville Beach, maybe, we weathered this one pretty well, but we're going to have a long way to go before things get better.
Yeah, Dennis, I'm getting crushed right now. As a matter of fact, you had to come up quicker because we had rain phase. There's such heavy rain coming down. The satellite couldn't boost up through, so we had to crank the satellite all the way up. Hey, I'm standing here with Catherine Thurston. She is a zoning administrator for the city of Wilmington. Okay, and Catherine, you're out with some of your colleagues.
He's just being funny.
Assessing some of the damage, and it's not easy to get to all the damage, is it?
That's right. With all the trees down and the flooding, there's some properties that we're not able to assess, but we're going around and trying to assess the damage to places that are accessible to us.
So, in terms of what you're doing here to assess this damage, what is that for? Is that for the city? Is it for FEMA?
It's for FEMA. It's for federal assistance aid after the storm for us to qualify for money from the federal government.
And how long do you have to do that?
Say hi to Debbie McCarroll.
Right. Yeah, how long? Because usually they want some numbers pretty quick because they want to put this together.
They do. They want it usually within 48 hours, but certainly they don't want us out in unsafe conditions.
48 hours from what? From when the storm comes ashore, or when we're out of this daily? Because this is still kind of considered part of the
We're still in the storm. I believe that they're going to be pretty flexible on the amount of time that we have to report, but just as soon as they can get it without putting people in too much danger to get the information.
So as you've gone down some of these streets as we have you gotten to a place where there's literally huge trees they're laying from, and you can't
right. We found many places that are completely inaccessible because of the trees in the road or because of flooding.
And describe the country. Limbs, is it big trees?
We're seeing entire trees with the root balls upturned.
Right, with the wetness.
Yeah.
That's not surprising me. All right, Catherine, thank you. Good luck. I know you got a heck of a mission on your hand, guys, because there are areas practically you just can't get to, and that's just the way it's going. But here again is exactly why we can't get people like Catherine out, and also first responders in terms of the power outage situation, because these winds and these heavy showers and thunderstorms that are coming through do not permit that to happen. All right, you cannot take a bucket up. Let's say there's a bucket that's near one of these tree limbs. All right, there's a power line up through here. You see how these limbs are swaying like this? It's just not safe. It's not safe for the power crews to get up. So that's why they have to wait. Typically, their issue is we have to get the winds below 35 consistently, 35 miles an hour consistently before we do that. And we talked to Duke Power earlier on, and they've got an armada of people out. They've got 17 states involved, at least, with people here ready to come in with poles, trucks, and everything on standby. I think once the weather breaks, we will get this done quickly. The problem is it's not breaking, and that's been our whole talk today. As a matter of fact, we are adding areas of flooding. And so, guys, you've got to be realistic if you're trying to get back to your homes here after being asked to evacuate, because the areas that you may come through, and I'm talking major thoroughfares as well, are going to be flooded. They're going to be flooded. This is the secondary issue that we talked about with Florence. The other thing, too, if you're driving I-95, do not plan on coming through North Carolina without a detour at mile marker 66 and 70. We'll be right back.
First rule of special ops: be aware of your surroundings. Complete visual clarity, because survival, safety, and success depend on it. These special optics give you the power to see all your surroundings. They're HD vision, special ops. Most sunglasses just make things darker, and in a tactical situation, that can be deadly.
Inspired by the needs of our men and women in uniform, Special Ops lets you do things normal sunglasses just can't do. You see your surroundings in high definition, with color, contrast, and clarity so sharp you'll never want to be without them.
And HD Vision Special Ops reduce glare without darkening your view.
Same polycarbonate material used in military aircraft. A high-performance design ideal for active lifestyles. Special Ops offer UV protection, are scratch-resistant, and can survive the harshest conditions.
Because no matter where you are or what you do, seeing clearly can save your life.
Or give you a tactical advantage even in low-light conditions.
Just the clarity of everything around you. It's like it brightens everything up. Or looking across the field, you can see things very clearly, which is extremely nice and very important.
The lenses are so clear, it's like there's nothing there. Everything just pops.
Tactical glasses glasses with similar technology can cost $200 or more. But with this exclusive TV offer, you can get HD Vision Special Ops for $19.99. When you order now, you'll also get our HD Vision Night Ops glasses absolutely free. Perfect for
Yeah,
night.
how's it going, everybody? This is Minnesota here from Minnesota in Oregon. I hope you're enjoying the live stream of Tropical Storm Florence. As you can see, it's over Charlotte right now and pretty much all of South Carolina. And North Carolina, if you've been listening as well, you hear that North Carolina hit the all-time record for most rain at over 31 inches. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of rain. That's almost as tall as I am. So, just wanted to say hi, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the, hi, Dottie Dogs. I hope you're enjoying the live stream. And make sure, if you're not a subscriber, to subscribe to us, because we do more things like this and other kind of fun stuff. Go ahead and check out our other videos. I think you'd like them. And tell your friends to subscribe too, okay? I'll come back a little bit later.
CenturyLink's best deal for internet looks pretty sweet. But peel away the layers and get to the fine print, and you may not get the speed they advertised. Well, that stinks. But not Cable One. Our internet is always fast and at a low price. Plus, we don't require a contract, ever. And it comes with Wi-Fi 1 for advanced whole home coverage. So don't fall for CenturyLink's tricks. Stick with Cable One's reliable internet.
People think if they don't shop at the big box store, they can't afford new appliances.
But at Coleman Appliance, stylish new GE appliances are totally within reach. Coleman Appliance has been selling and servicing GE appliances for 5 decades. We have the extras like professional delivery and installation. Keeping GE factory-trained technicians in-house makes a big difference to our customers. Make a new GE kitchen or laundry product the perfect choice.
Let's see a big box store try it.
Coleman Appliance, your GE appliance showcase dealer.
When this much rain falls, it is a life-threatening situation.
It's the most essential coverage on TV.
Currently in our area, 84 degrees under sunny skies. Today, sunny, high 89, winds south at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear, low 67, winds south-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday, sunshine, high 87, winds south at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Oh, really? The third time? I told you I have to do it until September 18th.
I cannot overstate it.
I have to wait.
Flood waters are rising. If you aren't watching for them, you are risking your life.
All right, guys, let's hear from Governor Roy Cooper here. This was just moments ago at a news conference he held. Let's hear what he had to say about what North Carolinians can expect as we begin to recover and, frankly, are still in the middle of this. All right, guys. Again, apparently we don't have that. You can see what we're dealing with here. We just got through the massive rain shower. It was enough to actually knock us off of a satellite, but we powered back up through it, and now we're bringing you that to signal. And look at the wind still blowing up there. All right, so we're down here near the ground, kind of protected a little bit around the houses and whatnot, and some of the down trees are actually breaking the wind. But you can still see it howling up there. And frankly, that is exactly why we can't get power back on. Also, new wind developing here around the Wilmington area. I was just looking at about 3 or 4 reports that have come in the last hour and a half or so of either cars that are stalled in floodwater, streets that are now covered with rainwater. It is pouring here. So there's one band that comes up through Wilmington, it keeps going west and north toward Lumberton, and there's another band that's up toward the Jacksonville and the Fayetteville area
to him in just a moment. But it is all about the tree damage. You heard us talk to the city of Wilmington, how they're trying to get out and actually assess what's happened here, but there's so much tree damage, a lot of the limbs, a lot of leaves. I mean, you'll come up on a spot on the road where some of the leaves, because of the rainfall, have been piled up 3-4 feet. And that's just because the leaves have kind of floated down together in some of these same areas. So damage like this, certainly very, very substantial. You know, the good news for this guy is where the tree broke, the limbs are more hanging on the top. They could have easily, the weight of this thing, this live oak, that could have gone right through that whole section of the house. Right through that whole section of the house. About 2 hours ago, we got a chance to talk to Mayor Bill Blair, and he has told us that he has made a trip to the island. There is no timetable for return there, but water and sewer are assessing. He said he saw some pretty severe structural damage to about 3 or 4 roofs over there. We also had about 18 inches of water from the south side come in and is now sitting on some of the roads. But there was not a breach on the ocean side at Wrightsville Beach. All right, and no timetable either as to when the media can get back there either. So again, this is still a very much evolving situation, very much evolving story here as to what we have going on. And one of the things I'm really worried about is as things improve here, it's going to take another day and a half, and the power starts to come back on, and people are allowed to return to their homes. You're going to have to do some pretty fancy footwork and driving work to get around some of these areas that are flooded. It's not just going to be a straight line in from east to west or north to south, because parts of I-95, I-40, and as you heard from Steve Abbott, the PIO of North Carolina Department of Transportation, he said, Jim, we've got about 225 or more roads right now that are underwater at this time. All right, let's go up to Fayetteville, North Carolina. We've got Alex Wallace. And Alex, it's interesting, 2 bands, one's sitting over me or just to the north of me now, the other one's hammering away at you. In some cases, this is almost worse than when the hurricane came ashore.
I tell you, you said it, Jim. This is probably some of the worst that we've seen since we've been here in Fayetteville. So it just goes to show you, even though this thing has made its way inland, it's a tropical storm, you can still be talking big-time impacts, and it's going to continue for several more days. That's the issue. Days of having to deal with rainfall like this and some of those gusty winds helping to really cause problems out there. It's already led to some power outage issues, and that's going to continue. The power crews just, they can't get to it. It's not safe to do so. And then the rain coming down, filling up this Cape Fear River, which is right behind me here that you can see. Now, this area that you're looking at right now, this is actually a dock. We've been reporting here all week long, and we were able to get on that dock. It was all dry ground, but now the water levels have come up quite a bit. Water is pouring down this hillside. You can see it how it's entering into basically the river right now. Looking back, about 11 o'clock Eastern time, the water line was right where my foot is right now. Now you can see where it is a little bit more than an hour later. Even further you can see, my sound guy, he actually put a brick down over here. Now what he did was he stood at where the water line was, and he took his 10-foot shoes and went 3 feet. But look, the brick, you probably can't even see it because it's under the water. So that happened in less than a half an hour. So that just goes to show you how quickly this water is starting to come up, and it's expected to get even higher than that. This river here, 62 feet. That's the forecast press. And if you recall, back in 2016, that was Hurricane Matthew. It got up to 58 feet. We could be talking about getting well above that. So that is a major, major concern for the residents here as this water comes out and starts to get into some of these communities and homes. And again, this area was a deck. We're seeing tree debris coming on board. In fact, you can see there's a tree right now that's gotten hung up on that deck. In that dock, I should say. So again, we're going to see this river continue to climb. We'll keep following what's happening with Florence, but along the coast as well as inland.
Domino's delivery drivers are experts at handling bad roads. But those roads shouldn't ruin your pizza when you carry out. So we're doing something about them, starting with this one. If your your drive home is rough on pizza, tell us at pavingforpizza.com so we can fix roads across the country. Then carry out large 3-topping pizzas for $7.99 each.
If you live with diabetes, why fingerstick when you can scan? With the Freestyle Libre, a continuous glucose monitoring system, you can check your glucose levels anytime, without fingersticks. With the Freestyle Libre system, just scan the sensor and manage your diabetes. You can do it without fingersticks. Freestyle Libre is available with a prescription at participating pharmacies. Learn more at freestylelibre.us. You eat healthy, take statins, but still struggle to lower your LDL bad cholesterol. You also have heart disease and fear a heart attack or stroke could strike without warning, pulling you away from everything you love. Because with high LDL, your risk of a heart attack or stroke is real. Now you can reduce that risk with Repatha. Repatha plus a statin dramatically lowers your LDL bad cholesterol by 63% and is proven to significantly drop your risk of having a devastating heart attack or stroke.
Do not take Repatha if you are allergic to it. Repatha may cause serious allergic reactions. Signs include redness, severe rash or itching, swollen face, or trouble breathing. Most common side effects include runny nose, sore throat, common cold symptoms, flu or flu-like symptoms, back pain, high blood sugar, and redness, pain, or bruising at the injection site.
Don't let a heart attack or stroke come between you and everything you love. Tell your doctor you're ready to lower your LDL and reduce your risk for real with Repatha.
Pay no more than $5 per month with the Repatha copay card.
I was on the fence about changing from a manual to an electric toothbrush, but my hygienist said going electric could lead to way cleaner teeth. She said get the one inspired by dentists, with the round brush head.
Go pro with Oral-B. Oral-B's gentle rounded brush head removes more plaque along the gum line for cleaner teeth and healthier gums. And unlike Sonicare, Oral-B is the first electric toothbrush brand accepted by the ADA for its effectiveness and safety.
What an amazing clean. I'll only use an Oral-B.
Oral-B. Brush like a pro.
This is an insurance commercial. Well, let's be honest. Nobody likes dealing with insurance, which is why Esurance hired me, Dennis Quaid, as their spokesperson, because apparently I'm highly likable. See, they know it's confusing.
I really have no idea what I'm getting, Dennis Quaid.
That's why they're making it simple, Manning Cafe, and more affordable.
Thank you, Dennis Quaid.
You're welcome.
That's a prop out.
I tell you more, but I only have 30 seconds, so here's a dramatic shot of their tagline so you'll remember it. Esurance. It's surprisingly painless.
When nighttime nasal congestion closes in, Breathe Right strips are designed to simply open your nose right back up. So with Breathe Right, you can breathe better and sleep better. Breathe better, sleep better. Breathe Right.
Closed captioning brought to you by Frog Tape brand Painter's Tape. Keeps paint out, keeps lines sharp.
Frog Tape is the only painter's tape treated with patented paint block technology. Get professional results with Frog Tape for sharp lines every time. Frog it.
FEMA's well positioned to support our state and local partners. We have rescues ongoing. We have hundreds of thousands without power, just as we anticipated. And we're poised and ready to go in when conditions start the restoration of our critical lifelines.
And it is not just FEMA that's ready to go in. Many trucks with lines and workers ready to put power back on here in eastern North Carolina, also ready. But this storm is relentless. It has not moved very much at all. It is literally crawling along. Okay, babies are moving faster than this storm is right now. All right, that's how bad it is. All right, behind me, the damage. You heard from FEMA. They actually, the city of Wilmington has representatives that go out. They have different districts that they look at, and they assess damage like this, especially damage to homes, how much tree debris has to be removed, things like that. And they actually report back to FEMA. And as I was hearing about from them, they were saying, you know, our groups are assigned to go do this. We have about 48 hours after the storm is done to get them that data, so they can kind of put together a number as to what they need financially and also what they need for equipment, right? But here's the deal, the storm's not ending anytime soon. We have a whole day of this to go through with these rain bands. and they're just absolutely relentless. All right, let's find out what kind of rainfall is in them in terms of what kind of rain rates per hour. Dr. Greg Postel, I was noticing that in the Wrightsville Beach area and in the Wilmington area, we're seeing a lot of roads now because of the rain rates that are getting underwater, cars submerged, things like that. Really, almost two separate bands that are doing this, one over us and one that's up to the north.
You got it.
What kind of rain rates are we getting in here?
Yeah, we're looking at maybe 2 to 3 inches per hour in some of these rain bands. Now, it's not going to rain at that intense rate necessarily for an entire hour, but you get the sense that over a period of 3 to 4 hours, you could get easily 5 inches of rain. Look at these bands that Jim was talking about. One right there, another one right there, where the primary center of circulation is all the way over here in South Carolina. But the worst of all the weather is over 100 miles to the northeast in North Carolina, with those bands rotating their way in like a fire hose, almost stuck in position. The problem is also is that these bands end up wiggling over like that, meaning they're breaking down, they're a little bit unstable, and actually capable of producing tornadoes as they move inland. And so we're seeing some circulations in some of those updrafts capable of producing tornadoes that move like to the northwest at 50 miles per hour and is shrouded by rain, so you'd never see them anyway. But yeah, there's that kind of problem in North Carolina, the heavy rain, the tornado threat. And in South Carolina, more of a steady rain, even some gusty winds of 30 to 40 miles per hour. Now beginning to move into parts of western South Carolina, even Georgia. Watch out for some gusty winds over 30 miles per hour there. There's that tornado threat in North Carolina that goes until 5 o'clock. Would not be surprised to see tornado watches extended beyond that going forward through the weekend. And if you want to know where Florence is going to go and if it's going to go anywhere soon, think again. The steering pattern around it is essentially nil. The strongest of all the winds aloft, the ones that are capable of knocking it out of the way, pushing it out, well, they're all the way over here. They're on the distant periphery. So it's just going to kind of lumber around is Florence, not very quickly for the next 12 to 24 hours, and then maybe by tomorrow late we'll start to see it accelerate. Going forward to the afternoon hours and evening, this is tonight. This is 11 o'clock tonight. Circulation not far from where it is now. North Carolina, Wilmington, where Canman is, and areas inland. Raleigh, all the way Greenville, maybe even as far west as Charlotte. Getting into some of those heavier rain bands still with a tornado threat overnight tonight. And then tomorrow, things should look similar to today. I would say the rain not as intense, the wind's not as strong, and there'll be more breaks in the clouds. So we'll see a little bit better improvement, I would say, by tomorrow, and certainly by Monday as Florence begins to move out of the picture by then. But until then, add however much rain has fallen to some of these numbers, maybe we'll get over 3 feet of rain in a storm total in some locations. We've already seen in some places over 30 inches of rain, and you can guess that adding several more inches easy will put us in a 3+ foot category. Moving Florence forward out of the Carolinas next week is important because it continues on north and northeastward into parts of the northeast. But the good thing is, I guess the limiting factor for excessive rain is the fact that it will be moving more quickly. But still, a couple of inches of rain through early part of next week into the northeast from the remnants of Florence. Jim, back to you.
So, Postel, thanks for at least a little bit of good news in there.
Yeah, right.
Okay, think about that. Not a lot of silver linings in there. We also wait another day to get this stuff even moving off toward the west, and hopefully by tomorrow, as we lose some of the rain and some of the wind, it will be enough so that Duke Power, being one of the power companies, certainly the main one here, gets to get some of these areas back online. All right, but folks, remember. Even after that happens, that doesn't mean it's a smooth, clear sail back here, because so much flooding between where you've evacuated and the beaches and the coastal counties continues as we speak. We'll be right back.
You wouldn't accept an incomplete job from anyone else. Why accept it from your allergy pills? Flonase Sensimist relieves all your worst symptoms, including nasal congestion, which most pills don't, and all from a gentle mist you can barely feel. Flonase Sensimist.
Guys, is this you busting out of your pants, out of shape, no energy or drive? Then you need Nutrisystem for men.
I'm Chris, and I lost 120 pounds on Nutrisystem.
I'm Essex, and I lost 43 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Lose up to 18 pounds and 8 inches overall in your first month. Money free. Real guys, real results. Put down the wings, pick up the phone, and get with the program today. Order your 28-day plan now and save 40% off every program. That's 40% off breakfast, lunches, dinners, and snacks. For a limited time, save 40%. Plus, get 1 week of all new NutriPro shakes, packed with 20 grams of protein to help shrink your gut, free.
The food was delicious.
I love the food. Pasta, pizza, so good.
Plus, we'll throw in FedEx shipping free.
It was perfect for guys like me who don't like to cook.
Lose up to 18 pounds and 8 inches overall in your first month.
It's simple. You eat the food, you lose the weight. Go online or call 888-648-DIET and get free shakes plus 40% off every program.
Back in the day, our military had to rely on lanterns like these. But today, lighting technology has come a long way. Nick Bolton here with the new TAC Light Lantern from Bell & Howell. The TAC Light Lantern collapses down smaller than a smartphone and weighs less than a pound. But don't let its small size fool you. It's twice as bright as an ordinary lantern. The secret is the genuine Bell & Howell Cobb LEDs that are smaller, brighter, and more energy efficient than regular LEDs. They make our TAC Light Lantern so bright it can fill an entire room with light and visible up to 2 nautical miles away. Plus, this lantern is built like a tank. It's heat resistant, works submerged in water, and can survive even the coldest conditions. Slide the housing to adjust the brightness for a little light or a lot. Add the fold-out hanging handles, and there's never been a better lantern for the great outdoors. When it's go time, I keep mine in full armor mode. Here's why. Takes a beating and keeps on working. So let's review. The TAC Light Lantern is small and compact. It features state-of-the-art Cobb LEDs that can fill an entire room with light and is built to withstand even the worst conditions. There's just nothing like it on the market today.
Act now, and through this special TV offer, you can get the Bell & Howell TAC Light Lantern for just $19.99, plus free shipping, and we'll even upgrade you to our deluxe TAC Light Lantern, also free. It features a magnetic base for bright, hands-free light whenever you need it. But that's not all. Order today and we'll double your order. Just pay a separate fee. That's right, you can get 2 deluxe Bell & Howell TAC Light Lanterns for just $19.99 with free shipping. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-902-5773. Again, that's 1-800-902-5773, or order online at taclightlantern.com.
Why did I want a Crest 3D White Smile? Dinner date. Meeting his parents. Dinner date. So I used Crest. Crest 3D White removes 95% of surface stains in just 3 days for a whiter smile that will win them over. Crest. Healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
All right, guys, keeping an eye on the situation here. Kind of interesting. We just were talking to the homeowner a little while ago. He came out before it started raining. Now it's pouring. He didn't want to stay out here and talk to us. But he just closed on this house, all right, 3 days ago. The night of the hurricane was his first night in the house. Can you believe that? The good news is there's not a lot of landscaping done around his house or mature, and the wind was blowing this way. So you'll notice the big tree that he lost right here is just basically sitting in the front yard on one of his pods, but it doesn't look like it's actually penetrated the pod, so good news there. All right, meteorologist Paul Goodlow, he has been all over the place, the Carteret County area, Morehead City, and now over towards the Beaufort, North Carolina area. He filed this report for us here at the Weather Channel.
We've made it to Beaufort, North Carolina here on Saturday late morning, and to survey the damage, we've noticed trees down, power lines down, power is out for this community as well, and some flooding here along Front Street. I want to bring in the mayor of Beaufort, Rhett Newton, and talk about what your town has gone through and what the condition of Beaufort is right now.
Right, so we started off with the evacuation, then we did a shelter in place, and now we're clearly in the recovery phase here as well. We have a lot of down power lines, we have down trees, we have some flooding issues that we're concerned about. Certainly yesterday was a big flood, and we've got high tide coming up around 1:30 this afternoon, so we're watching that very closely as well, but clearly in the recovery mode.
A couple of boats on us behind us kind of ripped off their moorings. You tell me there was a rescue in one of those boats as well.
There was a crew that got caught in the middle of the storm, and the Atlantic Beach crew came in yesterday afternoon and pulled them off the Rachel Carson Reserve.
And we were still in the midst of some strong winds and waves and surge yesterday, too.
We were, and Paul, I'll also let you know that a team from Las Vegas showed up yesterday afternoon. They are Task Force 1. They are a swift water rescue team, search and rescue, and we're just thrilled to have them in the eastern part of Carteret County.
Any other rescues or high water issues in the Beaufort area?
We did have some flooding, and we did have to evacuate a couple of folks there as well, but nothing of the nature of our colleagues up in New Bern.
And also, I noticed a lot of stop signs torn down, a lot of street lights are out. Any word of wisdom for people driving around here?
Well, just be very careful, especially with the down power lines there as well. We're trying to blaze a path right now so that the power companies can come in and repair these things, but be very, very careful if you're out and about.
Status of drinking water in the town?
Drinking water is good. We're very fortunate to have good water and good sewer right now.
All right, Mayor Red Newton, so glad for your time, and good luck to you on the recovery.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, so Beaufort is doing okay. We're going to move on and continue on to Morehead City and work our way towards the New Bern area. A lot of damage between here and there. We'll update you as we head throughout the rest of the day.
And again, the huge rescue effort in New Bern. Staging Navy's been a part of that. We've been talking about that since yesterday morning, even before the hurricane came ashore, as the surge was pounding all the way up the Neuse River. All right, in between Beaufort, North Carolina, and Beaufort, South Carolina, is Myrtle Beach. That's where we find meteorologist Mike Dennis. Mr. Dennis, I guess in a way we're a little bit lucky that some of this heavy rain hasn't twisted its way down toward you, but boy, you guys had a heck of a storm last night as this thing just basically sat over the top of you for a while.
It was really just the duration of it, I think, which was so concerning. It went on for all day long yesterday. Winds were gusting over 60 miles an hour, and it was torrential rain. Got about 6 inches of rain yesterday. Now, the rain's a lot lighter today. It's raining right now. The winds have backed off a little bit today. It's breezy out here at the water's edge. But you look at what the high tide is doing for us today, now bring with the onshore flow, the water in, okay, high tide's going to happen about 15 minutes from now, and whereas before the water was hundreds of yards out, now it's encroaching here on the dunes. And now I don't think that the dunes are going to be breached, okay, we've got the dunes right here and the water's coming right up to them. I don't think we're going to get about any higher than this because it is essentially at high tide right now, okay, but I think there'll be areas along the beach, North Myrtle Beach down to Myrtle Beach, where you end up getting areas where you don't have dunes, or you just got cut through the dunes, where it's beach access, and the water will come in. We saw some RV parks who had easy access to the beach, and water will likely come into some of those RV parks that evacuated and fill those areas up with water. So there'll be areas where water intrudes and then meets up with the flooding that's on the other side of some of these dunes. There is flooding on the other side of these dunes. I don't think where we are right here, it's gonna match up, okay? So I don't think the salt water and the fresh water are going to meet each other. But take a look, by the way, at the big waves, got 8-foot flux out there, and see how the waves crash in the front of the pier here? It's been actually pretty impressive today to watch some of the water come up there. Now, I don't think the pier is going to be in too much trouble. We've got big waves there, but it's still a fine. It's meant to withstand a good pounding here. And what's going on today, I don't think that's going to be an issue on the pier. There may have some issues with the canopies, but I'm thinking that otherwise there's going to be much of an issue. All right, Jim, we're going to send it back to you, and that's the latest here. Alex, let's go to Alex Wallace.
Hi, thanks, Mike. Here I am in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Been here all week, most of the week. A lot of sunshine, a lot of heat, dry conditions. It was calm, tranquil, and then of course Florence moved on in, and now we're in the thick of things. I'm still dealing with some of that heavy rain, which is expected to fill up what you see behind me, the Cape Fear River. Now, what you're looking at here was actually a dock area. I was actually able to get out on this dock. My camera man can actually zoom on and off into that sign, dock and ramp for loading and unloading. You were able to stand there. It was dry. But now this thing is starting to creep up and fill up with all kinds of water, and we've got more feet. This thing can get up to 62 feet as we head into the early part of next week, filling this entire area. Back in just a bit.
Scenes at a hospital in Central Africa may look like an emergency, but at Save the Children, we see this throughout the world every single day. Among the new arrivals is Kayembe. So frail, he can no longer stand. Kayembe is almost 2 years old, but his weight is less than half that of a healthy child his age. Kayembe is slowly dying. He needs food, and he needs medicine urgently. These These are the basic things that you can help us provide by calling the number on your screen now and giving just $10 a month. That's less than 35 cents a day. We know what it takes to save lives. It takes us, you, and as little as $10 a month. Save the Children is on the ground in the U.S. and all over the world, but we need your help to deliver life-saving medicine, medical care, clean water, and nutritious food to children in desperate need. For a child as critically ill as Kayembe, a single phone call can make the difference. Please, pick up the phone now. For less than 35 cents a day, you can help us save a child's life. Call now, and you'll receive this special Save the Children tote bag as a thank you for your support and a reminder of the difference you're making in children's lives. Every day, 19,000 children die from preventable causes. That's one child every 5 seconds. But it doesn't have to be this way. For just $10 a month, you can make a difference. Please, don't put this off. We need your help to get these children the critical medicine, food, and clean water they urgently need.
Aussi avoir assez de nourriture à donner aux enfants. Les enfants vont mourir.
Call Save the Children now and help us save a child's life.
Computer, order pizza.
Of course, Daniel.
Fridge, weather.
Clear skies in 75.
Trash can, turn on the TV.
My pleasure.
Ice dispenser, find me a dog sitter.
Okay.
And make ice.
Pizza delivered.
What's happened to my son?
I think that's just what people are like now. I mean, with Progressive, you can quote your insurance on just about any device, even on social media. You'll be fine.
Willie?
I don't know. Look!
Your next great meal is just over the horizon. For over 30 years, we've been serving breakfast fresh and hot. Try our always popular lunch and dinner specials made from scratch daily. All-you-can-eat fish fry on Friday and prime rib specials Saturday and Sunday. And don't forget our delicious desserts. Horizon is great family fare, and the portions are amazing. Taste and see why we're voted one of the 10 best diners in Iowa. Great food, great prices. Horizon Family Restaurant.
You run. You lift. Yet you struggle to lose unwanted pounds. Science Nutrition has the solution. TB16. TB16 is a great tasting drink that helps crush your appetite and supercharge calorie burn. Plus, TB16 allows for superior focus and energy without the normal crash of other energy drinks. Achieve your goals faster and easier with a boost from TB16 from Science Nutrition.
Should not give out his address.
And in this case, help put a murderer behind bars.
Storm of Suspicion premieres October 7th.
Currently in our area, 85 degrees under sunny skies.
I use some. I made some people to die also, you know.
Today, sunny, high 89. Winds south at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear, low 67. Winds south-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday, sunshine, high 87. Winds south at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
After a little bit of a break in the rain overnight, this morning it started up again, and it's hammering this afternoon. As a matter of fact, Mr. Seidel has shot us some video out of the Wilmington area, and the results of this kind of rains that we're having here is water that is covering roads and making them impassable in spots. So not only do we have the trees down, but we've got now impassable roads because of new rain that just continues with a relentless Florence that just doesn't want to move anywhere. All right, I want to bring in Josh Brown, who is actually contracted by FEMA. All right, he works for a tree service. And have you ever seen a situation like this before? I'm sure you have. Yeah. What is it going to take to get this monstrosity off of this person's house?
It'll be a crane job for sure.
That's what I figured. Yep.
And you can actually get in there with a bucket truck and do a lot of the work, but it's going to be a crane for sure.
So, in terms of what something like this might cost,
insurance is going to cover the majority of this work. This job right here is probably going to be in the upwards of $12,000 to $15,000.
$12,000 to $15,000, oh my! Because of the crane, right? You got to get the crane, sir.
Crane work, Kubota work, whatever skid steer that we're pulling out and dragging out and piling up in the road.
All right, so this is obviously an extreme case. It's probably over 100-year-old tree that you've got in there, but the way that it's just kind of literally sprawled over the house like a parachute makes it difficult. Plus, you probably have to take the weight off of one of the limbs before you can remove, the bulk of that tree.
Exactly right.
And it's like a Jenga. You have to do it from the top down.
There's so much pressure on each individual branch. That's where homeowners run into problems when they're trying to cut it themselves and they don't know the pressure, and you go to cut and it snaps and pops back. And, I saw homeowners get injured in Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma, left and right.
And we were talking about it this morning. The hospital's very worried about the bigger wave of injured folks actually coming in, not with the hurricane, but the aftermath and the chainsaws. So let's talk about this. You guys are under contract for people.
Yeah, we're a push crew. We go in, open up roads, allow the roads, clear the roads. So today we're riding through just opening up roads. Then once that, we come off onto the private sector, and we handle an insurance claim like this on this job.
Oh, so that's really interesting. So you guys were mobilized immediately, even as this is all going down.
We rode the hurricane out in a camper on Thursday night, so before it even made landfall. We do it every storm.
Tell me about that ride.
It's
one
a
you
ride.
probably don't want to do again, is it?
We do it every year. So Irma, we did it.
But you're out of the way of the you have to come in afterward. You're not sitting in the eye wall.
No.
You are sitting in the eye wall.
Literally.
Okay, well, we should talk about that afterward, because that's not exactly the best idea. All right, so in terms of getting in here, getting this situation, this weather, the way it is, with the wind and the rain, is it hindering you guys?
Yes, we can't.
Doing what
we can't do any.
Really get at.
We can't do any crane work right now because the boom's it's too windy.
Right.
No boom, bucket truck work. None of that's happening.
And what are your limitations? I know that power is 35 miles an hour.
Yeah, as far as it's about the same. Anything with the power lines, with where they're working, we're working. If they're not working, we're not working. Right. So it's so we can do stuff on the ground and pulling
clear
it
the
out.
roads and stuff.
Right. But anything aerial, we're not.
And you actually help the power crews out a little bit.
Yes, we do.
When you guys clear the roads, they can get in and get to the line.
There's some lines that are down. We can't. We treat every line as it's energized.
Right.
We can't touch certain things just because if there's a transformer there, you don't know if that transformer's live or not.
Right.
So it's dangerous. And backfeeds are the number one. So people that have the generators don't turn their main off, and it backfeeds into the lines, and that's real dangerous for us.
Right.
That's something
that's good to know. So turn off the generators. Thanks, Josh.
Yes, sir.
It's been a learning experience, actually. There's a lot of this stuff I didn't know. But just so you know, guys, FEMA's already here. All right, FEMA's active in through here as they've been contracting out different tree services and whatnot to clear the roads. Then they come in and deal with the private sector and getting homes off this. But Postel, if you were to guess how much this would have cost to take, I was thinking about $6,000 to $8,000, frankly, to get that. But wow, $12,000 to $15,000 for something like this, just incredible. And that's not even counting the structure or damage to the home. All right, that's not even counting the damage to the home.
No, and that's one tree. That is remarkable. I would have suggested about half that, but that is remarkable.
One tree.
Yeah, and countless trees are down. Let me take you back here and look at the current radar and then go back over the last 48 hours to show you the long duration of Florence's attack on parts of Carolina. I just blew it. That's too bad. I gotta show you this. Hang with me, guys. If you're home. Okay, here we go. Ready? So let's go back now 48 hours and just show you. Watch how Florence has moved in, slowed down, and unloaded rain band after rain band after rain band over the same areas. This is what a slow-moving Category 1 hurricane is capable of doing, delivering flooding rains, life-threatening flash flooding, and it continues even now. These rain bands that are moving through parts of North Carolina are wiggling around. That tells me that there's a tornado threat with these little circulations inside of that band as they continue to rotate northwestward. Farther to the west over South Carolina, we're of a steadier laminar flow here. We're not seeing a lot of strong thunderstorms in there, but some moderate rain is moving through parts of South Carolina that will continue for at least the next 12 to 24 hours. There we go. There goes Florence. Hang on to your hats. It's going to be a while longer before it's all gone. But hopefully in about 48 hours, Much drier conditions on the way. We'll be right back.
No one chooses to lose their hair. Hair Club can help you get your hair back.
The best part is I don't have to worry about losing my hair anymore.
I just feel more confident. I feel more alive. I feel attractive.
I wanted a full head of hair as soon as possible, and they gave it to me.
By far, the most common cause of hair loss is genetics.
When you see the old photos of me, you can see I had no hair right here. Now look, now I have hair, right? It's there. This is my own hair. I mean, this is my actual hair that's regrowing on my head. So it's there. It's there again.
Call in the next 5 minutes to get your free hair loss guide. It will tell you what you need to know about your hair loss problem, what your options are, and it's free when you call now. We offer all tested and proven surgical, non-surgical, and hair regrowth solutions.
I looked in the mirror this morning and there's another little layer coming in, and it just made my hopes about the possibilities become a reality.
I trust Hair Club 1000%.
Call now to schedule your complimentary consultation and get your free hair and scalp analysis at a hair club near you. You'll go home with your very own personalized printed report and treatment recommendation. You have nothing to lose. Schedule your appointment now.
Hey everybody, it's Minnesota coming in again. Just saying, thank you for watching, and keep watching our live stream of Tropical Storm Florence. As you can see, it has hit land, and it sounds like one of our viewers, Lynn Loud, it may have hit your area pretty bad yesterday. Sorry to hear that. And Indiana and Florida, sounds like you might get a little bit. It's going to hit
if you're not 100% satisfied
your
with the solution,
state of Indiana. So make sure you stay safe, everybody. And thanks for watching the live stream. And again, if you're first time watching, please subscribe. And
if you want to look better,
if you want us to make it to 2,000, help us by telling other people to subscribe. I'll come back a little bit later. Thank you.
We offer a variety of tested solutions, from 2 types of non-surgical hair replacement we call X-Strands and X-Strands Plus, to several surgical hair restoration options, to multiple treatments that can and will help you regrow your very own hair back. They include our Extreme Hair Therapy program called EXT, which includes the only FDA-approved and clinically studied topical ingredient proven to regrow hair. And we also offer FDA-cleared low-level light laser therapy, also clinically proven to regrow hair.
This is my hair, and it feels great. It feels natural. It's growing. It's strong.
Knowing I look good makes me feel more confident. Having my hair back makes me feel fantastic.
I love my hair.
Call or go online now.
For more information, call 1-800-370-0495. That's 1-800-370-0495, or go to joinhairclub.com.
Soaked and saturated here in North Carolina, also South Carolina.
Right now, our focus is on saving lives, protecting people. This is a very, very significant flooding disaster unfolding. Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Mike Seidel, Wilmington, North Carolina, and it just won't stop. Another heavy rain band from Florence, now a weaker tropical system. A tropical storm, 45-mile-an-hour sustained winds, but it's only moving at 2 miles an hour. It's midway between Florence and Myrtle Beach. The good news is starting tomorrow in the Monday, it's going to really start to move west and then north into the Ohio Valley and Northeast. Look at this out here. This is a concern. The power's out to hundreds of thousands, but also a lot of flash flooding. This has been sitting here because it's been raining now for almost 48 straight hours. These cars have been here, I don't know how long. They're stalled out, and it just keeps adding up. As far as the eye can see, the water out in the center is about 2, in some spots about 2.5 feet deep, something you don't want to drive through. It's not from the river. Again, it's just from water that's sitting here. Now, we'll see, maybe there's a drain clogged up. It has gone down somewhat. We've got some debris around the area, and there are some trees down, but this is going to be a continuing problem. We've got numerous flash flood warnings here in southeastern North Carolina. We're talking record-setting rain near Swansboro, over 30 inches of rain, and that now sets a new tropical cyclone record for North Carolina, which was just over 2 feet in Southport.
with Hurricane Floyd. Yesterday, here in Wilmington, just over 9.5 inches, third wettest August and third wettest calendar day on record. That is a lot of rain, and more has come down. This is going to be a problem into this evening, and then as we get into tomorrow, things will begin to ease up as Florence pulls away faster and we lose these rain bands. But for today and tonight, watch out for more flash flood warnings. Here's what we saw earlier as we pulled into this location here on the north and east side of Wilmington. We're just not far from UMCW. This guy driving through the water, making it through and turning right, so he was okay. But we don't urge you to do that, certainly, because you just don't know how deep the water is. He was able to make it through with his truck. Windy, tropical, squally weather continues. Wind gusts have dropped back to about 30, 35 miles an hour, a far cry from yesterday when they're still running 50 to 60 miles an hour out on the intercoastal. But still, when you get one of these squalls, it can blow pretty good and could bring down some more trees. Power outages now about 850,000, adding up South Carolina and North Carolina. Now, as the wind dies down, the power crews, especially Duke Energy, will be able to get up and get the power back on. The good thing is, I have not seen one telephone pole down. So that really makes the process a whole lot better. Let's go up to the Outer Banks, where the mandatory evacuation has been lifted for residents. Sam Walker from the Outer Banks Voices up there. Sam, I was talking to a friend of mine down in Buxton, and they say the big thing down there is cleanup. The overwash and the bulldozers getting the sand off Highway 12. What can you tell us about Highway 12 in the Outer Banks?
Well, Mike, I can tell you that the Department of Transportation, I just got off the phone with Tim Haas, who's one of the spokespersons for the Department of Transportation. They have conducted their survey, their scan of the Bonner Bridge, and that's really what they've been waiting on for, so that they can let traffic back on the Bonner Bridge. On top of that, of course, is getting the water and sand off of the road at the various washout spots, or rather overwash spots. Pavement's not been damaged. It's just been sand and water trying to get that moved out of the way so that traffic can resume on Highway 12, hopefully within the next day or so.
Sam, let me ask you a question. Is the power still on, or did it go off and it's still off over there in Nags Head? I know that's in the area where a lot of people go, even this time of the year. Nags Head, Kill Devil Hills, Kitty Hawk, and Duck. What's the power situation there?
We have had no power outages, very scattered outages down on Hatteras Island and on Ocracoke Island during the height of the storm on Friday. But on the northern beaches, from Corolla all the way to Nags Head, everything's wide open. Residents are being allowed back in. Property owners are being allowed back in. They'll be ready to go to accept visitors starting tomorrow, which is great news because the economic hit that this evacuation that the Outer Banks and all of North Carolina is taking because of Florence, to try and get a little bit of that back now that we're all, we made it out.
Okay, we lost Sam Walker over there on the Outer Banks, but he tells us things are going to be up and running tomorrow. Visitors can come back in that area where most of you go. The power is on, and they're just getting everything cleaned up. So that is good news to get everybody back in there and get a spark to the economy after Florence. Another beach area being impacted even harder, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where the power is out. And they dealt with a lot of heavy rain yesterday. Looking at the radar, Mike Bettis, you have missed what we're dealing with up here. There's a couple of bands, but this one right here is really dropping more rainfall. What's your status there as far as rain, and what about your power specifically?
Yeah, we've been very fortunate here, Mike, to have the rain let up quite a bit today. There have been a few areas at times today where we've had some light rain, but not the heavy rain like we had yesterday. Certainly not like the heavy bands that you have up there in North Carolina. Now, the good news about the rain backing off a little bit and the winds backing off a little bit today, now that Florence is a lot weaker, is that power crews have been able to get out there and start restoring a little bit of power. At the peak, we had about 170,000 without power. That number's down to about 135 now, so those are good numbers. As far as the tide goes, high tide happening right now, okay? And for the past several days, we've seen has been an offshore flow here, but now onshore flow with really strong surf right now and some high waves and that high tide. Now with the onshore flow, we're pushing the water up here against the dunes. This is probably going to be about the max we see, okay? Water's coming right up to the dunes, and this is probably where it's going to stop. Wouldn't expect the water to get any higher than this, especially with Florence's movement being away, and then we'll go to lower tide. and I think we'll be in pretty good shape. Now, there could be some areas where the beach water is going to come in, where we've got cuts in the dunes, or areas where it sits a little bit lower, but I think for the most part, that's going to be minimal, okay? So there are some places like RV parks where there's easy access to the beaches. Not in this particular area here. They've done a lot of beach renourishment here, which is all a good news. Now, as far as the evacuation orders go, still in place here in Georgetown and Horry counties, okay? So you're not allowed back in yet in Myrtle Beach. That has not been lifted yet, okay? So keep that in mind. You can't come back in yet. They're still doing damage assessment. They're still doing some cleanup, and there still may be more cleanup that we need to do today if we have any more power lines that come down or any more trees that come down. Winds are still gusty, but maybe not to the criteria where those will come down. But having said that, there still needs to be access in. So before that can let you back in, access needs to be cleared. For places down near Charleston, they're actually lifting the evacuation orders there at Berkeley County, Charleston, Colleton, Dorchester counties. Your evacuation order has been rescinded, so now you'll be allowed to come back into those locations. We don't feel that they're going to be as impacted as severely as other places up here towards Grand Strand or certainly up into North Carolina. The problem is, you got a really tortuously slow-moving system right now, only moving at 2 miles an hour. So we could be in this for at least another day until it picks up a little bit of speed and moves inland. What that means is for so many of us, our patience is wearing thin. Listen, so many people here evacuated Tuesday and Wednesday, and now here we are Saturday, and they're still not going to be coming back in. So it's a long, tedious process, but I promise you folks, you can wait one more day. The weather's going to improve at least, and we're going to end up seeing, hopefully, and we'll be expediting the process to get people back into their homes and back into their neighborhoods. They canceled, a lot of college football games today, and Mike, the big one that was canceled, and probably rightfully so, was that South Carolina Marshall game. Could you imagine them playing a game today in Columbia? It's just putting a lot of people in harm's way. So that's the latest here at Myrtle Beach. We're going to send it back to you in North Carolina.
Okay, Mike Bettis, we're still in the thick of it here. The wind has dropped dramatically today versus yesterday, 60, 70 mile an hour gusts. Even yesterday afternoon, 105 yesterday morning. Right now we're gusting 25 to 30 inch squalls and still very heavy rainfall, as you can see here. And so this water on this roadway is not going anywhere. We've got 2 cars stalled out here. By the way, that person over there, you see the per head, that's another television news reporter. Let's go back to Atlanta. Hurricane expert Dr. Erica Navarro in the house. Dr. Navarro, 2 miles an hour. I know your PhD involves tropical meteorology. Discuss a little bit about that and then also get into the flash flood emergencies here in the state.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mike. With a slow-moving system like this just continues to prolong those heavy rainfall events here, and especially because this still has access to the Atlantic Ocean, we have continued moisture being funneled in and some of those strong outer bands. Here are those flash flood emergencies that are ongoing. These are the areas that are experiencing catastrophic flooding due to this heavy rainfall. Some areas on the eastern part of North Carolina have received 24 inches of rain so far with Florence, and unfortunately, we're still talking about more to come. So here's what's left. You can notice the structure here looks very different. Florence still definitely has a swirl to it, but you can see the strongest part of the storm right now is where these bright colors are on the eastern side of that system. These are the strong, energetic bands that are continuing to come in and affect places well inland of the coastline. So even out towards Fayetteville, across I-40 here, off towards I-95, these are the areas that are undergoing the heavy rain at this time. So again, these areas have taken on a lot of water, but unfortunately, until this system picks up a little bit of speed here over the next couple of days, we're going to continue to see these areas inundated with water because Florence, as Mike just mentioned, is barely moving at all, moving off to the west at 2 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and take a look at things. We do expect that to change as we head into the day Sunday into Monday, but until then, notice that these energetic outer bands continue to funnel in that moisture here across eastern North Carolina and portions of South Carolina as well. We do expect that center of circulation to continue weakening as that center is over land, but we're likely still to see some gusty winds as well as heavy rainfall with that region as well. But unfortunately, even through the night tonight and into the day tomorrow, notice how these areas across eastern North Carolina from Wilmington up towards Raleigh, eventually off towards the western part of the state here, affecting the Appalachian Mountains, places like Charlotte, lots of heavy rain to come with the remnants of circulation of Florence here into the coming days. Sunday into Monday, we're expecting that circulation to lift off to the north a bit, and that may alleviate some of the conditions, but it's still going to be quite some time before this event is finally over. So this is not the time, again, to check out on Florence, because we still have a lot more to go in terms of the rainfall. Now, in terms of the totals, we could be expecting 10 to 15 inches more today in some areas of North Carolina. This is on top of what we've already received. So these storm totals could be approaching 30, even 40 inches by the time this is all said and done. But other areas today across South Carolina and the western portions of North Carolina and Virginia, southwestern Virginia is another area we're going to watch very closely for the heavy rainfall. And with this, with the saturated conditions coming into play, now we're at a greater risk for potential landslides and debris flows along the Appalachian Mountains. So look out for that as well. This flash flooding in combination with the river flooding, all the events we're talking about here, we could be talking about multiple different kinds of impacts before Florence finally exits the region. Right now, here are the gauges that are showing major flood stage. These are the rivers that are potentially compromised by the amount of rainfall that we're experiencing. A lot of areas on the eastern part of North Carolina showing that purple triangle. That's where we're at that major flood stage, maybe even near record in some of these areas. But look what happens as we go into next week. This is now showing you the projection of what we could be expecting as Florence makes its way off to the north. Numerous gauges here all across the southeast could reach that major flood stage. And so this is the important part of this event. It may take a few days for those river levels to really rise after all of that rainfall finally comes down and trickles down through the rivers. This could potentially be more. The river flooding could be lagged a few days by this point, and we might not see it until early next week. So we're not done with Florence, and we might not be done for a little while. So make sure you continue to listen to your local officials until, again, everything is safe and this event has been called, so to speak. Beyond that, as we head into next week, Florence will finally get steered enough to the west that the westerlies are going to pick it up. It will take the remnants of that circulation off here into the northeast, so we may be seeing some rainfall here across the mid-Atlantic and the northeast into the coming days as Florence get pulled up, but it won't be anything like what we're experiencing right now because this storm will have weakened enough and lost its access for the most part to the Atlantic Ocean. But even into the northeast, it has been an extremely wet summer. Many areas seeing some of their wettest months on record. So we are expecting to see some heavier pockets potentially of a couple of inches and maybe even some more here, especially across portions of West Virginia. So Mike Seidel, this is a long duration event. I fear the impacts are really just still ongoing. We may not have seen the worst of it yet in some of these areas across the southeast. Mike?
Yeah, certainly some of the areas inland, like Charlotte and Columbia and even Fayetteville, where this band, you can see on the radar, rotates in across us here in Wilmington, Wrightsville Beach, Surf City, and then all the way in across 95 over towards Fayetteville, Leverton, areas that were hit hard by Matthew. And some of these river levels will be even higher than Matthew 2 years ago. And that was a different kind of system because it did go off the coast, and then moisture lingered on the backside because I was actually on the beach at Wrightsville Beach with winds about 50 miles an hour. There was no evacuation. Now, there are a lot of trees that have been even uprooted. You can see their whole root ball because the soil is so damp and saturated, and then we have trees that have been blown down on power lines. So a lot of folks without power. Just some small limbs here in this Exxon station. The overhang is fine. We've seen gas station overhangs that have lost their awnings. This one's pretty sturdily constructed. But look at this. This Exxon sign got blown down probably yesterday morning when we had those wind gusts to 105 miles an hour. Gas is another thing that hard to come by. Most gas stations are without gas, and some of them without power to get the gas going. But everything should start to ramp up again tomorrow as the wind and rain abate here in this part of North Carolina. We've got continuing coverage on Florence. Now a 45-mile-an-hour tropical storm, but still windy, gusty, squally rains. We've got flash flood emergencies in areas here in North Carolina, and the heavy rain adding up, heading towards the Queen City of Charlotte, Columbia, and Florence, impacting college football and travel in Interstate 95. More on that. Stay with us here on the Weather Channel. We'll be right back.
As the one who's always trapped beneath the duvet, I'm begging you, take Gas-X. Your tossing and turning isn't restlessness, it's gas. Gas-X relieves pressure, bloating, and discomfort fast, so we can all sleep easier tonight.
Psoriatic arthritis tries to get in my way,
Watch me.
Take it with you.
in Myrtle Beach. So gusty winds, down trees, down power lines, all still a potential, all still very dangerous over the next couple of hours. So please stay inside. I know it's hard, but hunker down and wait till this storm passes, because there are threats outside that could be very dangerous if you find yourself out there. Now, the slow movement is likely to continue here over the next couple of days. Florence is surrounded by high pressure, which has left it in a weak steering flow. There's really not a whole lot to push or pull it here over the coming days, so it's slowly going to make its way inland and eventually get caught up into the upper level westerlies as we head into the early part of this week. It'll make that northward turn, as I said, and then the jet stream will eventually come in and kick it off towards the northeast, but not before a lot more heavy rainfall here comes back in for portions of the Appalachians. So we've got the inland flood threat, Mike Seidel, that we also have to worry about. We really haven't gotten there yet. The Appalachians need to watch out for that heavy rainfall in the coming days. Mike?
Yeah, in those areas you have to deal with elevation, so you have gravity and water coming down hillsides. The totals, though, will be less. Thank goodness. That would be a real disaster. Not that this isn't a real disaster, certainly, but when you throw 20, 30 inches on a mountainside. Back here in Wilmington near UNCW, right off College Road, you can see the highway. This roadway is completely underwater. Let's go out to Storm Tracker in Clinton, North Carolina. Aaron Jajak, and he's in the heavy rain. Aaron, have you seen any flooding where you are?
Hey, yeah, so I've been just east of the Fayetteville area all day, and every little stream that I've been coming across is completely over their banks. I was in around the Spivey's Corner area, and the 701, that highway, that was completely flooded over with cars washed off the road, actually.
And what about getting around, and as far as trees go? I know you're farther inland. You didn't have the wind that we had here on the coast, certainly, but have you seen a lot of trees down? Because we know a lot of power is out even that far west over towards I-95.
Yeah, there's been actually quite a few trees. I've seen electrical crews. They're actually out repairing lines right now, still in all this rain. I saw residents themselves are out trying to help out and clearing the roads. Most of the roads, like right now, I haven't come across any roads that aren't passable from the trees. It's mostly just been flooding. I've had to turn around a couple of times and take some weird routes to get around the flooding right now. And I'm trying to track down. It's kind of hard I'm trying to stay in these feeder bands right now. There's also a tornado threat around this area, and they're kind of the feeder bands they're kind of pulsing from the north to the south. And so trying to stay into those things has been a little bit difficult. They're moving 50, 60 miles per hour. And so that's my current plan right now, what I'm doing.
Okay, thanks, Aaron Jajak. Clinton, North Carolina. He mentioned a tornado watch here until at least 5 this afternoon. More coverage on Florence, more expert analysis coming up next.
When nighttime nasal congestion closes in, Breathe Right strips are designed to simply open your nose right back up. So with Breathe Right, you can breathe better and sleep better. Breathe better, sleep better. Breathe Right.
Peeling hard-boiled eggs is such a hassle and makes a mess. Now there's Egglets, the silicone sensation that cooks hard-boiled eggs without the shell. Just prep, crack the egg into the pod, twist on the top, and boil. Pop out perfect hard-boiled eggs. No hassle, no mess. The thermodynamic silicone cooks the egg like it's inside the shell. Make delicious omelets, and it's perfect for soft-boiled eggs too. Get Egglets today at these fine retailers.
Everybody has a visor in their car, but a visor in the wrong place can actually make it harder to see. Nick Bolton here with the latest from Bell & Howell. We call it TAC Visor. Inspired by the face shields used by our American fighter pilots, TAC Visor can do things no ordinary visor can do, like block blinding glare without blocking your view, so invisible dangers suddenly become visible, and enhance colors to give you vision as sharp as an eagle's. The secret is Bell & Howell's light filtering technology. Nothing to see, right? But look again as we hold up our TAC Visor. Our colorful American eagle is revealed. Amazing. Think of the trick? Bring it in, guys. But check out what happens when I show it to these people. Hop in. Look at that windshield. Tell me what you see.
A blank screen?
Just a blank screen.
Nothing's blank.
Go and put down that tack visor and take a look again.
Wow, what the? That is amazing.
That's crazy.
How does it do that?
Best of all, tack visor is easy to install in any car. Simply slide on, and you're ready to rock and roll. So, if you need to block blinding glare without blocking your view, then you need a Bell & Howell tack visor. There's just nothing like it on the market today.
Act now to get a tack visor for just $19.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. Only a tack visor features Bell & Howell's precision and quality, and is backed by our lifetime guarantee. But wait, order today and we'll upgrade you to our 2-in-1 tack visor. Just pay a separate fee. When the sun goes down, use the night vision visor to improve visibility and block dangerous glare from oncoming headlights. This offer won't last long, so don't delay. Here's how to get yours today.
To order, call 1-800-460-7165 or go to tackvisor.com. That's 1-800-460-7165 or order online at tackvisor.com. That's 1-800-460-7165.
Fact is, every insurance company hopes you drive safely. But Allstate actually helps you drive safely with DriveWise. It lets you know when you go too fast and brake too hard. With feedback to help you drive safer, giving you the power to actually lower your cost. Unfortunately, you can't do anything about that. Now that you know the truth, are you in good hands?
Closed captioning brought to you by Grown in Idaho Super Crispy Fries.
New Super Crispy Grown in Idaho frozen fries. Bake up crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. Grown in Idaho Super Crispy Fries. Mmm, super crispy.
It's going to be a familiar sound. Chainsaws everywhere, because we have a lot of downed trees across the Carolinas as a result of Florence coming ashore with some very strong winds and a lot of rain. And so a lot of cleanup will be happening, and it's going to take some time, folks. It's not going to happen overnight, that's for sure. So a lot of reports of trees down around Wilmington, throughout eastern North Carolina, areas here in the Grand Strand, and where we are here in Myrtle Beach, we've had trees down and power that's been knocked out. Now, I've got some good news to report about the power outage numbers in South Carolina. Those numbers are actually coming down. A few crews have been out today clearing trees and trying to restore power. And so at one point we had over 170,000 this morning without power. That number is down to about 130,000 now. So we're making improvements. The weather's not great today by any means. It's still breezy today. At times the weather's been quite rainy, but at least it's better than it was yesterday when it was non-stop, strong wind and really heavy rain. 6 inches of rain has fallen for us since this thing began here in Myrtle Beach. Now, where we are down on the beach, I wanted to show you this from different perspective, because for days now, the water's been way out with an offshore flow, but now with the onshore flow, we're getting a lot of chop out there, 8-footers out there, 8-foot waves, and at high tide, which happened about maybe a half hour or so ago, we're getting the water coming up now, but it's only coming up to the dunes, okay, and then it's stopping, so I don't think we're going to have a significant surge issue here at all. The good news is that Florence is a lot weaker, so we're going to have really strong, long sets with really strong winds that came in. You know, you look just right down here, the water edge comes right to the bottom of the dunes here. The water's come right to the bottom of the step here. This is a little boardwalk that goes up and over the dunes so that the dunes aren't compromised. But that's been the edge of it. That's been the most that we've seen. So I think that's really, really good news. Now, having said that, there will be some locations where the water will come through, areas where we maybe don't have beach dunes, or where we don't have boardwalks that are filled up, like down at the boardwalk and the main strip of Myrtle Beach. So there will be some areas, I think, where water intrusion becomes an issue, but the water should go back out with the tide that gets lower. Although we'll have a persistent onshore flow here with a south-southeast wind for the remainder of the day. And at times we'll have some squally weather. Now, I don't think we're going to have as strong of rain here as we'll have in North Carolina. Having said that, it's still not all that safe for you to be outside, and the evacuation orders have not been lifted here in Horry County or in Georgetown County. So those are two counties where you still have to stay out if you evacuate and you're trying to get back in. They have not been rescinded yet. So you're going to to be in place at your shelter, at your evacuation location for now. Now, farther down the coast, they have rescinded the evacuation orders around Charleston. So Charleston County, Colleton County, Berkeley County, those are counties where, Dorchester County as well. We no longer have evacuation orders, okay? So you can come back now into your home. Those are all really good things for us now, folks. We're baby steps, if you will, baby steps, right? The thing about this is, Florence is taking baby steps. It's barely moving, right? We got a storm system here that's only moving 2 miles an hour. So the problem there, Jackie, is it's not a quick fix. A lot of times we think these storms are going to come in, they're going to move right through, and we'll be done. Not in this instance at all. Not in this instance. We're going to see a lot of instances here where we see prolonged events. Mike said, there's no state that's seen it worse than North Carolina, and potentially ongoing impacts to catastrophes next week as rivers rise with all the heavy rain that we're getting.
Indeed, and we've got one gentleman here from Wilmington, a local resident for 58 years who's been through it. In fact, this is the first time he's been out of his house. Welcome to the Weather Channel, Charles Biggs. And tell us a little bit about why you were stuck and how you managed to get out this morning.
I spent all morning cutting trees out so I can get out my road. This has been pretty bad. Third one's been pretty bad, but we've got a lot of rain, a lot more than I expected to have this one. It's stuck around a lot longer.
Let's put this in perspective, because you went through Fran, Floyd, and Matthew, 96, 99, and 2016. Kind of rank them, give us an analysis on the amount of tree damage first.
Alright, man, Shorty here again. Just checking back to say, hey everybody. Just making sure you're still enjoying the live stream. And Martin Ward, you are correct. Vatican City is the smallest country in the world. It's actually inside the city of Rome.
Everybody's safe, grandkids, so I'm blessed on that part.
So,
that's for sure. So, looking back, is the damage worse than with the other 3 hurricanes I mentioned, or in the same ballpark?
And welcome to Daniel, the Everything Collector, for watching the live stream. Appreciate that, as well as everybody else. So, if you have any other questions you need answered or you want to talk, let me know.
Now, as far as what about the power?
I was checking again a little bit later.
In relation to past storms, how long were you out, say, during Floyd? Is it days or weeks?
Floyd, was out. The longest I've ever been out was 11 days. This one here looks pretty bad. I don't expect to get fire at least for at least 2 weeks. But I got a generator in the house. I'll fire it up, sleep in, keep the stuff cool. No big deal.
There you go. Hey, we got to go. Thanks for joining us, Charles. Biggs from Wilmington, North Carolina. He's out and seeing how the rest of the world is making out here with Florence. We've got more coverage and analysis on Florence as it moves just at 2 miles an hour this afternoon.
Play She's a Rainbow.
Studio 3D sound. It's everything we ever imagined and then some. When you carry out large 3-topping pizzas from Domino's for $7.99 each, you don't want bad roads ruining a good pizza. So we're doing something about them. If your drive home is rough on pizza, submit it at havenforpizza.com and we might fix it.
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Well, today we're going to see one for ourselves and let you be the judge. It's called Plexiderm, and lifestyle expert Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. We even have a video that the viewers can watch while you and I talk. And you'll notice the model has bags underneath his eyes and some sagging, and all he uses is a small amount, and that's how easy it is.
All right, what's the active ingredient?
Okay, so it's silicates that are minerals found in shale rock. And what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes in as little as 10 minutes, no prescriptions, and very little effort. And I did this to my father. We were at home, and we were screaming. 4 minutes, 34 seconds, completely gone.
My real true opinion is holy words I can't say on camera. These lines bother me. They really do. And this is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I could feel it just lifting my skin. It feels great. Looks even better.
Hi guys, my name is Sandy Marinese. I'm a professional hair and makeup artist, and one of the number one questions that I always get in my chair is, can you make me look younger? So we had a few people that we applied it to, and some of them at first I was like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna work. And I was so impressed how fast and how well it really worked. Now I could really say to people, yes, I can make you look younger.
And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles. So it targets all those problem areas.
So this would be a daily thing, or just when you want to like get rid of the bags?
Yeah, it absolutely could be a daily thing. You have high school reunions, you have events you want to go to, you want to look years younger, this is it.
Plexiderm has a special offer for you. Right now, you can get Plexiderm for up to 50% off, plus get free shipping. Order yours at plexiderm.com or call the number on your screen.
Fade away.
That was awful. Why are you so good at this?
Had a coach in high school. Really helped me up my game.
I had a coach. Math.
Ooh. So why don't traders have coaches?
Well, who says they don't? Coach McAdoo.
You know, at TD Ameritrade, we offer free access to coaches and a full education curriculum just to help you improve your skills.
Boom! Man, skills.
Education to take your trading to the next level. Only with TD Ameritrade. You wouldn't accept an incomplete job from anyone else. Why accept it from your allergy pills? Flonase Sensimus relieves your worst symptoms, including nasal congestion, which most pills don't. It helps block 6 key inflammatory substances. Most pills block 1. Flonase Sensimus.
I want to again warn residents of the mountains and the rest of North Carolina, especially the southern Piedmont. Heavy rain is predicted still. Fayetteville, west of Charlotte, and the mountains. Expect flooding and potential landslides beginning tonight and continuing into Monday. Some of the areas will be impacted that have rarely experienced any flooding. Get prepared and stay alert for forecast updates and emergency evacuation orders.
Yes, we still have a long way to go with Florence, and we've already seen some incredible totals in terms of the rainfall. Nearly 20 to 30 inches have fallen in some of these areas across North Carolina, unfortunately, with more on the way, as you've just heard. Taking a look at the area, we have a strong band that's moving into the North Carolina coast, and we have numerous reports over the last 2 days coming out of flooding, river flooding, down trees and power lines, etc. You can see 83 flash flood reports, 42 heavy rain reports, and this is just a sampling of what we could be seeing across the area. Flash flood emergencies are ongoing here in these counties in eastern North Carolina. Includes Jones and Onslow County, include Lenoir and Dublin. Catastrophic flooding ongoing in many of these areas, and we're anticipating more potential river flooding in the coming days as the rainfall continues to come down and the storm continues to linger. Unfortunately, these energetic outer bands are likely to continue here throughout the day today and even into the day tomorrow. So, Mike, more of those same areas that saw 20 inches of rain could top out at potentially 40. This is definitely a storm that's going to go down in history in North Carolina.
Yes, it's there, Harvey, here in eastern North Carolina. Quick traffic update. If you think this isn't impacting those of you miles and miles away, well, Interstate 95, the southbound lanes, and mile marker 81, that's just north of Fayetteville, North Carolina, they are closed, and they're detouring you on Interstate 40, and we'll likely see more closures because I remember 2 years ago with Matthew in Lumberton, you had to go into town and get back on the highway, and for a while, traffic was not moving as everybody was coming back south into South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida following Hurricane Matthew. So just before you take any long road trip this afternoon or even over the weekend, check on those major interstates. Certainly 95 is going to be the one that's going to be really impacted into at least early next week. Let's go down to Mike Bettis in Horry County, Myrtle Beach, where the rain has backed off, Mike, but you still have the residual effects with the power being out in Horry County.
Yeah, there are still ongoing issues. A few issues, right, Mike? We've got about 130,000 customers that are without power here in South Carolina. Majority of those are right here in Myrtle Beach and Horry County. We've got a minor flooding that's still an issue, including right here between the dunes of the beach and some of the hotels here. We've got about, in some of the deepest areas, about 3 feet of water. I'm not going to be in that, but there's literally, why I stand here is I say, there's literally a storm drain right in front of me here. The water's not draining out of that storm drain because we can't get the water out through the Atlantic because the water's up now. Then we've got an onshore flow, and so when the water comes up there, it means it backs up the drains, backs up the storm systems, and so you can't effectively get the water out. So there could be some areas where we have residual ongoing flooding today with an onshore flow to south-southeast wind today, and that may stay all day long today because Florence really isn't budging at all, and so that wind direction is pretty consistent. Now the winds, they're breezy today, but they're not nearly as powerful as they were yesterday, where winds were gusting over 60 miles an hour here, and we picked up about 6 inches of rain so far with Florence. Now, as far as evacuation goes, we still have evacuation orders in effect here in Horry County and Georgetown County, so you won't be allowed back in, even though they're now out there doing assessments. First responders are out there. Weather's a little bit better today, it allows them to be out there. And some power crews are out restoring power. We've actually made some improvements today. We've had about 45,000 customers back online throughout the day today, so those are all really, really good signs. Now, as long as the winds stay down and the rain holds off, I think we may even make more progress throughout the day today. As far as some of the rivers go, there's going to be issues there that are going to be ongoing for days to come, okay? That would be the Waccamaw River, the Intercoastal, could be a place like the Wateree River in Camden. Watch these waters rise over the next several days, even into next week. We can see significant rises, Jackie. So the problems won't be over when Florence leaves. They'll be continuing even here in South Carolina, where, you know, for the most part, we've been spared the worst conditions, like we've got North Carolina, but still a pretty powerful blow to the Palmetto State.
Absolutely, and such a long duration. I know folks are so anxious to get back to their homes, but really need to heed the advice and the warnings from local officials on that. We want to get you caught up to date with what we know. Florence is a deadly storm with at least 5 confirmed storm fatalities. Interstate 95 is closed in both directions from Fayetteville exit 65 to 81. Officials hope to reopen it on Monday. There are also parts of I-40 that are closed. There's now a mandatory evacuation in place for citizens of Cumberland County, including the city of Fayetteville. Everybody within 1 mile of the river there is being told to get out. And FEMA has described this slow-moving storm as it's like being stomped by a turtle. Mike Bettis there gave you a little bit of information on power outages and updates, and we want to give you the official numbers. This number has gone down a little bit since earlier today. Across the U.S., we're just shy of 900,000 power outages. The majority of those are in North Carolina. South Carolina alone around 132,000 without power. And the update for North Carolina right now, just over 700,000. Duke Energy says it could take weeks before everybody has the lights back on.
What might seem like a small cough can be a big bad problem for your grandchildren. Babies too young to be vaccinated against whooping cough are the most at risk for severe illness. Help prevent this. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today about getting vaccinated against whooping cough.
You're the can-do guy, the I got this guy, but you're also the guy concerned about prostate health. And you're not alone. For guys over 50, the ingredients in Urinazine help support prostate health. You're in control with Urinazine.
I'm Chris, and I lost 120 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Listen up, guys. Want to shed a few pounds? Got a beer belly? Can't fit into your pants? Then you need Nutrisystem for men. Lose up to 18 pounds and 8 inches overall in your first month. Money back guarantee.
I'm Essex, and I lost 43 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Real guys, real results. Put down the pie. Pick up the phone and get with the program today. Order your 28-day plan now and save 40% off every program. That's 40% off breakfast, lunches, dinners, and snacks. For a limited time, save 40%. Plus, get 1 week of all new NutriPro shakes, packed with 20 grams of protein to help shrink your gut, free.
The food was delicious. This is perfect for men, especially guys who don't want to cook.
We'll even throw in FedEx shipping, free. So get off the couch. Lose up to 18 pounds and 8 inches overall in your first month.
It's not that hard. You eat the food, you lose the weight.
Go online or call 888-634-SIZE and get free shakes plus 40% off every program.
This is an insurance commercial, but let's be honest, nobody likes dealing with insurance, which is why Esurance hired me, Dennis Quaid, as their spokesperson, because apparently I'm highly likable. See, they know it's confusing. I really have no idea what I'm getting, Dennis Quaid. That's why they're making it simple, and in cafe, and more affordable.
Thank you, Dennis Quaid.
You're welcome.
That's a prop out.
I tell you more, but I only have 30 seconds, so here's a dramatic shot of their tagline so you'll remember it. Esurance. It's surprisingly painless.
Men, after 40, you have a choice. Live with less drive and less muscle, or get ageless male, the best-selling free testosterone booster with over 4 million bottles sold. Ageless male. Promote confidence, libido, and more free testosterone.
For those who thirst for more, Coors Light is colder, cleaner, and crisper to refresh you for what's next. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
I've got a million ways. In the complex world of insurance, it's important you have the proper coverage and at a reasonable price. At Northeast Nebraska Insurance Agency, our agents provide personal attention to secure you a policy that fits your life. Whether it's home, health, life, auto, business, or crop, we represent several insurance companies and will determine the right coverage for you. So whether it's human nature or mother nature, stop in at one of 7 convenient locations for a personal insurance review. Northeast Nebraska Insurance Agency, caring for Nebraska families since 1930.
At Toyota, safety isn't an option, it's standard. So features like lane departure alert and pre-collision system are always included on every single Toyota RAV4. To get similar features on a CRV, Honda charges over $2,000. They should. We don't. Tested, trusted, Toyota. Get $2,500 customer cash on a new 2018 RAV4, or get 0% APR financing on a new 2018 RAV4. Find your Toyota at buyatoyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
With this much rain,
it's not that hard. You eat the food, you lose the weight. Go online or call 40% off every program.
Currently in our area, 88 degrees under sunny skies. Today, sunny, high 90, winds south at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear, low 67, winds south-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday, sunshine, high 87, winds south at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Again, I urge everyone to wait for local officials to give the all clear before our citizens return to the impacted areas. As you know, the President declared a major disaster for North Carolina. That opens up lines of assistance in the individual assistance side and public assistance side. And other declarations we anticipate to follow.
All right, so you hear the governor there talk about evacuations, and you've got to wait until the evacuation orders are rescinded in your area before you're going to be allowed back in. And some counties are just not allowing that yet because conditions are just too poor. Welcome back to our continuing coverage of Hurricane Florence, and now a tropical storm. Winds are 45 miles per hour. We're anticipating a new advisory here any minute. When we get that, we will pass along that information to you. But a significantly weakened storm, although still significant impact, especially with the rain. Now, it's a little breezy right now in Myrtle Beach, and a little bit of light rain, but the heaviest of rain is in North Carolina. Here's what's left over, the flooding that we experienced, especially from the heavy rain that we had yesterday when we had record-setting rain. About 6 inches has fallen. This is all that was, if you saw us yesterday, if you were doing this yesterday, we're on the other side of this hotel right here. We had a lot of rain that was falling, it was being pushed down the parking lot. Well, guess where it got pushed? Under the hotel, off the parking lot, and to the lowest lying area you can find. And that's from the hotel to the dunes, and that's where it's sitting. There's actually a drain right here. We can't get the water to go down because we've had a really strong onshore flow today. And so the ocean is up. And when the ocean is up, that means you can't get the storm waters away. All right, I'm going to show you kind of a little explanation here of how these hotels work. I really think it's fascinating. It's a great design, and they do a great job of keeping the water out of the hotel. This is a hotel where the first floor really begins on the second floor, if you will, right? Because they built it up quite a bit, right? So it's about 10 feet up. But you can see the water's halfway up the door there, right? But it's all designed to flood, okay? It's all designed to take on run water, and that's exactly what it's doing right now. Again, power outages, an issue for us. They're out there trying to restore power right now to slow crossings because the weather's not ideal right now. Maybe just allowing them to get out there and do a little bit of work today. But we're hoping we get more people online as we go through the day today. And Mike, I know it's going to be an issue for so many people, right? We had close to 1 million customers at the peak without power. Some of them slowly coming back online, but I think for so many people that are impacted by a hurricane, that's the one incredibly frustrating thing is how long it takes to get electricity back.
Thankfully, it's still warm out here. We've been in situations, Mike, as you know, in this wintertime with ice storms where the power goes out and it's freezing cold. I did talk to a Duke Energy truck that drove by here at this closed Exxon station and reiterated the fact that these winds have to come down below 35 miles an hour before they'll consider going up in bucket trucks. And that's about where we are. We're still getting some gusts up around 30, 35, maybe a stray gust to 40, but they're slowly going to wind down through today and tonight, and power crews should be out in full force tomorrow. He did say, you know, some areas of town, there are a lot of trees down. Around here, you don't see any, and I didn't see any power poles down, but there are power poles down in some of these neighborhoods. But by and large, when you look around these areas, around these shopping centers, these main highways, all the at least infrastructure is intact. And honestly, all the driving that we've seen in non-neighborhood areas, main roads, I have not seen any trees on power lines or any power lines down. Bottom line is, hopefully they can get this process completed faster, as fast as possible, because they don't have a destruction of the grid like we've seen before. Like last year with Irma in Miami, when so many trees came down and what several million customers have out power, some for at least 3 weeks. Our continuing coverage here on the Weather Channel. Dr. Erica Navarro back in the Weather Channel. Dr. Navarro, new advisory coming up here at 2. I don't expect the motion will change from 2 miles an hour, at least not very much.
No, Mike, we're still seeing here a very slow movement. It has come up a little bit, 3 miles per hour, but that's not a big change, in my opinion. This is still a very slow moving and catastrophic situation in terms of the rainfall here with Tropical Storm Florence. As of this latest update, we are still seeing sustained winds at 45 miles per hour, so this is still a tropical storm. Rapid weakening is still expected as that storm remains over land here, but it's that continued slow movement that will bring those impacts into play here across the southeast into the coming days. The storm is now 40 miles south of Florence, South Carolina, so still, again, parked over the northeastern part of the state, bringing heavy rainfall there in areas into those strong outer bands at this moment in time. So taking a look at the areas that are being impacted most heavily, you can see this is the eastern portion of North Carolina. Areas like Fayetteville, Wilmington, Morehead City, still receiving plenty of rainfall here in this energetic outer band. And it's been a very wet couple of days here. These rainfall totals coming in are truly quite large. 30.58 inches here in Swansboro, North Carolina, 23.75 inches in Newport. Even areas away from the coast like Trenton, 18 inches being reported there. And you can see these numbers here off to the west coming up towards that 6, 7, 8 inch range. So unfortunately, with the forecast that we're facing, we're still expecting these totals to come up. This is what we're still anticipating on top of Florence. Another couple inches here to come, maybe even up to a foot. Our continued coverage of Florence coming up after this.
Parodontax, the toothpaste that helps prevent bleeding gums. If you spit blood when you brush or floss, you may have gum problems and could be on the journey to much worse. Help stop the journey of gum disease. Try Parodontax toothpaste. It's clinically proven to remove plaque, the main cause of bleeding gums, for healthy gums and strong teeth. Leave bleeding gums behind with Parodontax toothpaste.
Time. It shouldn't be measured by points. It should be measured by how long steak and lobster is back at Outback. Backed by popular demand. Steak and lobster starting at $15.99. And time is limited. So hurry it today. And if you want Outback at home, order now.
Jen and I are obviously a bit behind converting the den into a nursery.
Hey, I know a good contractor who could probably help you guys out.
Can you verify their credentials, check their customer reviews, give us some additional quotes?
Oh,
and Art,
you can't expect your neighbors to do everything HomeAdvisor can. So just ask HomeAdvisor.
Our military uses high-tech surveillance equipment to keep you safe, like aircraft that can listen in on conversations from hundreds of miles away. Hi, I'm Hunter Ellis. Now you too can experience super hearing with Magic Ear by Atomic Beam. It can hear a pin drop from 100 feet away. No more embarrassing complaints as you watch TV.
Please, turn that down.
You can adjust the volume for your personal listening. With Magic Ear, you don't have to turn up the volume or ask anyone to repeat themselves. This state-of-the-art breakthrough lets you adjust volume to hear better than anyone in the room. You can even hear a whisper 100 feet away.
See, Dawn, she looks amazing.
And pick up sounds you'd never hear. It's hard to hear in the backseat of a car.
Are you okay?
I can't hear you back here. Now sit back and talk comfortably.
Can you hear me back there?
Loud and clear. Use Magic Ear in theaters and meetings. What do you say? You'll hear every word clearly, comfortably, no matter where you're sitting. Magic Ear gives you the incredible experience of super hearing. Sportsmen and bird watchers use it to hear noises that are too low for the human ear.
People think it's a pocket radio, and I like that.
I love how discreet it is. Fits in the palm of your hand. No one even knows you're listening.
Discover for yourself the thrilling experience of super hearing. Order Magic Ear by Atomic Beam right now for just $19.99. But wait, order now and you can double the offer. Just pay a separate fee. Plus, we'll ship them free and fast. That's 2 Magic Ear by Atomic Beam and free shipping. This technology cost over $150 million. But Magic Ear, it's a deal. Order now.
Call 1-800-478-7862. That's 1-800-478-7862. Or visit getmagicear.com. So call 1-800-478-7862. Order now.
Soaked and saturated here in North Carolina, also South Carolina.
Right now, our focus is on saving lives, protecting people.
This is a very, very significant warning disaster unfolding.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Around the Clock coverage here on Florence. Now a weak tropical storm, but it doesn't matter. Except for the winds have diminished quite a bit. They're gusting now at times 35 to 40. And we're still getting a tremendous amount of rain. That's going to be the story from here on out. It's all about the rainfall and flooding and getting the power back on to hundreds of thousands of customers. And the flooding is going to close major highways. I think back to 2016 and Matthew and the aftermath of the flooding covering Interstate 95 and the detour around Lumberton. And we bring in Emily Jones, the Public Information Officer over in Lumberton in Robeson County. And Emily, we're going to go through this again, where we have to probably detour or maybe not even be able to go into Lumberton if the water gets even higher.
Hello, yes sir, this is Emily Jones. Yes sir, that is correct. We are hearing those numbers could get to that point, but that is just something that the numbers is what we're getting from the National Association of NOAA. River could get
And what's your prognosis on, okay, we've lost Emily on the phone. Sometimes you have technology issues. But just reiterating, water expected to get as high or higher with the rainfall from Florence as we look back at just 2 years ago with Matthew. So Emily, back on the phone with you. Okay, she's gone again. We'll continue on here in Wilmington, North Carolina. The rain still adding up. We had almost a little over 9.5 inches of rain yesterday. That is the 3rd wettest August day and 3rd wettest calendar day on record in Wilmington. Now this street typically floods, but certainly not this bad. This is not far from UNCW. By the way, those kids evacuated and they shut down on Monday, so they've been out all week. See if they can get back this coming Monday. It's all really about the power now for a lot of folks here and getting the trees cleaned up, especially in those older downtown neighborhoods, those oak trees, live oak trees. A couple of cars out here have been sitting out here stuck in the water. The water has gone down some since its peak, but we keep getting just unrelenting, annoying rain, these tropical bands. It's been raining, as far as I know, nonstop for about 48 hours. And it's added up to over 30 inches in Swansboro, North Carolina, and that is a new state tropical cyclone record, breaking the 24-inch and change number south of here in Southport. That was set during Hurricane Floyd 19 years ago. So a lot of rainfall, a lot of power out. But the good thing is the wind is backed off, and that's going to take the edge off the situation at the beaches. The mayor and public works folks are going to go over there and assess that, and we'll see how soon it is before visitors and residents can get back across the bridge. And one thing we do know, we did hear this morning that the public works director went over there and did not see any power poles down. So that's the thing. And there's not a lot of trees over on Waitsfield Beach. Let's go down to Little Beach, where there are plenty of trees, especially inland, and power's out there too. Let's check in with Mike Bettis. Mike, better day today for you than yesterday, but still a lot of rain in the forecast, especially inland from the coast there.
Yeah, tons of rain is still in the forecast. It's raining in here now, Mike, but certainly not the heaviest of bands like we saw yesterday, that's for sure. The winds are still up today, but not again like they were yesterday, where they were gusting over 60 miles an hour. That's when we had a lot of trees and power poles that came down. The surges come in today, which we didn't have yesterday at all because they had an offshore wind. But even with the high tide, which happened about an hour ago, the water line only came up to about here, okay? So that's really good news. And then it's the dunes, and then you're going to get into, the hotels here. So this is it. Looks like it's not going to get any higher than this, we don't think, especially now that Florence has weakened pretty significantly. Sustained winds only 45 miles an hour. The problem is it's moving so slow that conditions that we have today are likely going to persist for the remainder of the day. It's only moving at 3 miles an hour, right? So we'll continue with the south-southeast wind. That's going to keep an onshore flow here. That's going to increase our opportunities for rain, but I think the heaviest of the rain bands will still, for the most part, stay in North Carolina. We've had flooding issues around South Carolina, and some places are starting to come back online, but you're not allowed to come back until the all-clear is given, until your evacuation order is rescinded. We haven't done that yet in Horry County or Georgetown County, okay? So both of those counties, you still have to stay out until they've done their damage assessments, they've cleared roads out, and it's safe for you to return, because what they don't want to do is have people come back. There's a tree down over a road, there are power lines that are down, and then you're just creating a traffic jam, and you can't get anything cleaned up. Power crews have been out some today. The weather's taking a turn for the worse right now, so some of them may have to come down out of the trucks, but some of the power crews were out earlier today and started restoring power, and some people had to come back online. In fact, at our hotel, the power just came back on here in the last 20 minutes, so those are good signs, and I think with the lower wind speed today, we won't see additional power outages. I think the big thing we're following now is, what's the opportunity for flooding? How much more flooding will we see? How many more rivers inland will see flooding? Those are all questions still to be answered, where our forecast for a lot of rivers is up, okay? You take it to a place like Camden, South Carolina. We're watching the Wateree River there. That can come up 20 feet this week. That's because of inland flooding and our watersheds that are draining into our river system that eventually gets it out into the ocean, right? A place like Conway flooded quite a bit during Matthew. We're going to watch potentially the river come up there, the Whatcom River come up in Conway. So these are all things we're evaluating here over the course of the next several days. As far as what's going on for us in other parts of the day, let's bring in Dave Malkoff. Dave, give us an update on what's happening today. We know a lot of improvements have been made across the states, but in other areas we're still struggling.
Yeah, this is the area where we're still waiting for the majority of the rain that is still off to the east of us, crawling towards us at about 2 miles per hour. But we do have some video to show you from Goldsboro, North Carolina, where we had a nursing home that was evacuated. Now, that was a dangerous situation that they had to take all the old folks who were in that nursing home and take them out of there. So that was a swiftwater rescue that was going on at that point. But just here in South Carolina, in Camden, South Carolina, there's already some heavy rain, so you can see the difference between over there and over here. So we're just about 85 miles from the heaviest of the rain, but again, it's coming so slow. It's coming at about
okay, everybody, this is Minnesota and Oregon again.
It's just taking a while for it
coming in for the last time to say thank you for watching the live stream. We're going to be all done now, and I appreciate it.
Not too
And
far, but you can see
we're sending our prayers out to everybody out there in the Carolinas and who are affected by Tropical Storm Florence. Keep your heads up and above the water. Have a good day, and don't forget to tell your friends to subscribe to Minnesota and Oregon. Thank you now.
Yes,
Bye.
this band coming right in at us and then wrapping all the way around and then all the way back towards where you are, Dave Malkoff there. Inland areas still to get a lot more rain. We're going to get a lot more here, but the totals inland won't be as high because it's just really kicking in.